Those who know performance know AMD Ryzen. Get the latest gaming laptops powered by AMD Ryzen processors. Those who know performance know AMD Ryzen. Get the latest gaming laptops powered by AMD Ryzen processors. Those who know performance know AMD Ryzen. Get the latest gaming laptops powered by AMD Ryzen processors.
SK Rossi, man, we as much as we love talking about this guy, can't deny the bad performances, man. He has got 4 kills right now. Oh, it's heartbreaking to see for G. They need SK Rossi to deliver.
They're all turtled up in the side. They can easily get swarmed by the pistols.
Great at all, but Amaterasu and Deathmaker, they've gotten 2. Still a lot of work to be done for Deathmaker. Let's bring it to a 2v1, but still a little bit too much to ask this time for Deathmaker. It's a great attempt though, but open from heaven. This is just a game that keeps on giving.
He's the one who got headshot. Deathmaker though, juggling the guns!
Oh.
But eventually the weight of the Vandal will weigh heavy on Jermaine.
It is time to fight back. It is time for payback. It is time for glory. Arise South Asia. It is time for Skyesports Champions Series. We are ready. We are coming.
What is up, Chennai? Love the energy, always love the crowd over here. From day one itself, I've been seeing smiles and energy all around, and today it's giving me goosebumps already because I see a lot of faces over here, a lot of energy. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Skyesports Champions Series presented by AMD and powered by Router. My name is Ranjit Mamba, Senior Patel, I'm your host. But yesterday we had some crazy matches. We had the Parsec Hill Derby happen for the first time where Orangutan came out on top. We had the Val Classico happen where G crushed Velocity. But of course we have the content creators which are going to go on at the end of the day. They will play in the grand finals, a best of 3 grand finals as well, so stay tuned for that. But today, it's time to find out who's going to come out on top because this might be one of the most important matches in this entire tournament, more so than the grand final because the winners guarantee a slot in the APAC Challengers. Now, who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be the Ape Army or is it going to be Global Esports? We'll find out, but before we go live, I need both the teams, all the fans on my cue to make some noise. We're going to start off with the Ape Army on my cue. I need you to do the signature noise that you do with the claps on my cue. Are you guys ready? 3, 2, 1, who? Wonderful, wonderful. A lot of energy from the Ape Army. We know Global Esports is no less. I know your throats are sore. You've been shouting a lot. But on my cue, can we have G fighting, please? On my cue, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? All right. 3, 2, 1. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A lot of energy, a lot of love, a lot of respect. Both these teams are fighting it out. Global Esports have already made it twice. Can they make it 3 on the trot? Or is it going to be the debutants going to Singapore? We'll find out. But ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at the first team in question. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Global Esports! Welcome. A lot of smiles today, Bhavin, a lot of smiles.
Yeah, just happy to be here, you know. We have always been in the lower brackets. We won the Val Classico today. I'm just happy to play.
Something tells me you love being pushed against the wall and being in that position where it gets the best out of you.
Yeah, I mean, we are the underdogs when we are coming in from the lower brackets, right? So I love being an underdog. The underdogs fight the hardest, so that's what we are going to do.
Trust me, Bhavin, you're far from being an underdog. You've been there twice already. You know, you need to make it 3rd on the trot, and 3rd time is a charm, you know that.
Yeah, I mean, past results don't matter. What we do now is the most important, and yeah, we are going to try to make it 3rd time in a row.
No, wonderful, wonderful. Good luck for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, time for the second team. Let's have a look at OG. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Orangutan! IGL Vibor is going to take us to Singapore, eh?
Yes, that's the plan.
A lot of wonderful chants. I know they have something planned in store for all of you folks, but I want to give you a nickname. Iceman, everybody's heard of Iceman, but yesterday on Icebox, you are clinical. No emotions whatsoever. You pull off a 1v4, you pull off a 1v3, no smile, no muscles twitching on your face. How do you do it, man?
I don't like emotions that do not naturally to me in the game. It's like I'm just focused on the game at the time and just like looking to win the game and nothing else.
That's wonderful, that's wonderful. That's actually really important as well to take away the emotion from the match. He functions like a machine. But does the team never wonder, where are the emotions, or is it always backstage?
Yeah, they always keep asking me that, why are you not smiling and everything, but I'm just like, I don't know. It just happens.
Of course, it just happens, but the entire team is here. They've been screaming the lungs out. Their lungs are probably sore. But I've been seeing a lot of creativity from them. Have you had a chance to hear all the chants?
Yeah. So in the office, everyone was told to make one chant. Then only they'll get a flight ticket to Chennai, or else they won't.
No, that's wonderful. For all the fans watching, because look, Global Esports have already made it twice. You guys need to make that. You've been there. You yourself have been there, but as a team, it's going to be your first time. How's the excitement like, and what's the team saying about this?
The team is feeling pretty confident. We've defeated them once before, so we're looking to do it again.
So we can do it again. But once again, I want some more hype. I'm going to come to you, Bhavan, as well for Global. But I need you to rally your troops right now to make some noise. Can you ask them to make some noise?
Let's go. Who?
Wonderful. Good luck to you for the match. Bhavin, we got to do this once again, man. We have to do it because the excitement is up there.
You mean G fighting?
Yeah, G fighting, absolutely. On my cue. Let's do it on my cue. Ready? All right, even he wants to make a video. Of course, we're going to give him his moment. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1.
G fighting!
I know hype is not something you're good at, but nonetheless, make sure you have a ball in the server. You can have the handshakes. I love the energy in the arena. Wonderful, wonderful. But for all of you folks in Chennai who have the passes and still haven't showed up right now, trust me, you're missing out. Make sure you drop by. We have tomorrow as well. But nonetheless, we have a lovely panel ready and waiting for us to break the game down. So let's move on to the panel.
Up the crowd and getting us excited for this lower bracket finale. It's Orangutan Esports versus Global Esports. My name is Vivek. Joining me is Scripps. One team, Orangutan Esports, knocked Global Esports to the lower bracket, and now Global Esports could possibly end Orangutan's run in the tournament. Who will come out on top? We'll find out in due course across 3 maps. Scripps, we've been watching these teams. Anything about their patterns that you'd like to point out?
It's the patterns that I'll get to later, but first let's talk about what kind of stories they've accomplished on the stage so far. Orangutan, nearly a brand new team, barely a few months old. In the phase 2 of this tournament, they were the top seed of their group. Now imagine getting the top seed, defeating almost everyone else, and being the undefeated team, coming into the LAN, winning your initial matchups, only to lose to Enigma Gaming later on. Now, that is something that Orangutan expected. They knew that Enigma is going to be in a much better form than they are. Now they're up against Global Esports, and Global Esports have been on a little bit of a warpath. These teams faced each other on day 2 of the LAN phase, and Orangutan was able to beat them 2-1. This knocked Global Esports down into the lowest bracket, and since then, they've been on a redemption journey. They had a revenge match against Revenant Esports. Global Esports, Revenant Esports already faced each other before, and once again, Global beat them. Although Revenant did give them a good run for their money, Global Esports went ahead and faced Velocity as well. The Val Classico took place just yesterday, and that was one banger of a match. Global Esports beat them as well, and now they are back against Orangutan, the team that initially threw them down into the lowest bracket. And now they're going to welcome Orangutan with their open arms and saying, welcome to the lower bracket yourself now. You see what it feels like to be here. You see what you've done to us. We're going to do the same to you. That's what the G fans and the team is going to say to Orangutan.
Oh yeah, it's been a arduous journey for both these teams. Let's take a look at what they're fighting for. We can now obviously share the prize pool with you. Crips, this is not a small sum of money. It's
not at all.
Not chump change. You know, I was wondering yesterday, Enigma, they've secured themselves a slot at APAC, but there's still prestige and more importantly, all that prize money at stake at the Skyesports Championship Series.
And forget about the prize money. I don't think these teams care about the money. They've got money in abundance. The APAC slots are at stake. Yesterday, Orangutan almost had the chance to confirm their slot at the VCT APAC, but Enigma denied them the opportunity. Global Esports also, they have previously represented India already in the previous season of VCC.
Yep.
They've beat teams like Damwon and everything. And of course, because they've already gathered international experience, they want to make sure they use that international experience once again to do better and keep the Indian flag flying higher at the APAC Championship. But there's only one team that stands in the way, and that's Orangutan. A team that hasn't seen any international experience, but they do have international players from 4 different countries. So what is it going to be? Is it going to be Global Esports experience that they acquired during VCC? Or is it going to be the fresh tactics that Orangutan bring to the table? Keep in mind that the team that wins this is going to go ahead and maybe have another chance at fighting Enigma for that top seed in the VCT APAC.
Oh yeah. And like you said, APAC is at stake. Tournament lives at stake. So much money at stake. And all of that will be decided across these 3 maps. Soon enough, we will know who's going to be playing what map clips.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to see what maps these guys are going to be playing. And while we are speaking about maps, I kind of want to talk about what happened last time between these teams. So the last time that these 2 teams faced each other, they had a nice 3-mapper affair consisting of Breeze, Ascent, and Haven. Breeze was surprisingly the pick of Orangutan, and they were able to win it, even though they were not a comfortable team on it.
Yeah.
Global Esports gave them a good run for their money, but in the end, Orangutan, they used the bait and switch tactics really well and were able to win that game. And up next was Ascent. Global Esports win that 13-10. So far, both maps have been 13-10. But the main thing was the Haven map in the 3rd game. And that one was incredibly close. That one almost went into an overtime, but Orangutan won that 13-11. So these 3 maps have already been played by these teams. Very soon we'll have the map veto on our screens, and we'll figure out whether these teams choose to play those same maps again and maybe learn from their mistakes, or do they go for something completely brand new? Everything is going to be so difficult today. Like, not just these maps, but also the behavioral tendencies that these teams have shown against each other. Like, when we first saw Orangutan in this tournament, they were the kind of team that would always try to split up and try to go around and gather map control. But in the map against Global Esports, they were clumping up together more often and even sticking together as a unit, which isn't something they've done before, and that really threw Global Esports off guard.
Oh yeah. Guys, we know the map veto, and it's a rather interesting one. I just need to confirm with production. If production can hear me, can you please let us know if the map veto has been made public?
Well, it's gonna be a mystery.
Until then, I'm going to talk about this one mysterious map. There is this one mysterious map where we have no data at all about Orangutan. Fans of Orangutan, if you know what that map is, I'd love for you to guess. On chat, in the audience, murmur amongst yourselves, because there's going to be murmur afterwards. We are really curious to see how this map gets played out. And for now, though, we can look at head-to-head. I think this is for the entirety of the online phase. Am I right, Cribs?
Yep.
So win-loss 14-7, 19-6. Orangutan with more wins. Win percentage 66.67% for Global Esports. Orangutan obviously with a better win percentage. These next 2 stats are very, very interesting, because when we found out about the veto clips, the first question I asked you was, what side are Global Esports starting on? Their attack win percentage isn't that impressive.
Yep.
And this is why I was praying that if you are a Global Esports supporter, Global Esports would be starting out on defense. They do a lot better on defense. Orangutan, tactically, Wibo's been doing a great job calling the attack side for his team. Yesterday on Ascent, phenomenal stuff coming out from Orangutan and from Wibo. Tactically, a very sound team. They got a sound IGL. Their attack round wins are similar, a little bit more leaning towards Orangutan, obviously because of the attack win percentage. And the defense round wins are obviously a representation of the percentages. The most picked map for Orangutan is Icebox. This is not too much of a surprise. Teams have been banning Breeze against them, so they're not always getting Breeze. And for Global Esports, it's Haven, which is also not a surprise. When this team initially was formed, Cribs, Hellranger was really adamant about a way in which they approach Haven. Hellranger knows how to set strong defaults. Strong defaults are the foundation of Haven. However, a little throwback to yesterday, VLT would always best them on Haven.
Exactly.
Anywho, Orangutan struggled on Haven though, Crips. They struggled versus Enigma. And even the last time Orangutan played Global Esports, Haven was really close. Orangutan ended up winning, but they won 13-11. So this time, we're not going to be seeing Haven. Global Esports' most picked map will not be seen, but it's going to be an interesting set of maps. The other thing that I'd like to point out, if you are a global esports supporter, I'm sure you tuned in yesterday. We saw an SK Rossi Reina. We saw Hellranger play the Cypher, which he's played once before in the tournament, but the Reina was really, really interesting. So I walked up to Hell in the hotel and I asked him, why Reina? Yeah, Rossi's very comfortable with it. We just wanted to go with comfort picks. So we might see some more of that from Global Esports. For now, fingers literally crossed as Hellranger rallies the troops. I'm very curious to see what the Orangutan side of the stage is looking like right now.
I assume that the Orangutan side of the stage looks a little noisier. The fans have definitely been noisy enough. These guys have been so energetic and screaming. I went up to one of those people and offered them the Wix toffee I had in my pocket. They needed it much more than I did. But Global Esports are the kind of team that usually has very calm and composed comms.
Oh, yeah.
Although, when it comes to Orangutan, their comms can be a little chaotic.
They're actually composed, Crips.
I mean, the actual donation of their comms is composed, but the chaos comes from the multilingual facet of this team. Sure, they have 2 Indians in the team, but everyone else is from different countries. They've got 1 Filipino, 1 Korean. They've got a Pakistani player who, by the way, isn't even present on menu.
Yeah.
Now, that's going to be a massive factor.
I think speaking of that Pakistani player, speaking of Shooter, he's been a key part of Orangutan's success. And in Orangutan's previous series versus Enigma, I felt like he was missing. Shooter did have technical issues. So he played that series at Storax's house, at his place. So obviously new PC, new setup, it can be a little bit disorienting. And yeah, Storax will find time, and he's got to find time to really punch back today. 3 maps available for either one of these teams to move on to the grand finale of the Skyesports Championship Series, presented by AMD and powered by Router, and obviously, eventually represent India at the APAC stage. The crowd is, well, let me tell you, the crowd is only getting started.
Oh yeah, this is just their basic energy level. They're gonna go way, way louder than this. But there is another thing we need to keep in mind.
Oh, yeah.
When Shooter starts shooting, my goodness, that guy can also be a menace. He can be louder than anyone else. You pointed out, he has been the key factor of Orangutan's success, but every time he gets picked off first, the firepower considerably drops. And the one time it did drop, the one time Shooter was having a bad game, Tesseract was the one who stepped up. Tesseract, keep in mind that yesterday when he was playing against Enigma, had a very quiet first half, but then he stepped up so hard, he ended up getting 37 frags in a match.
Oh yeah, nearly a 40 bomb.
Nearly a 40 bomb. That's been the record in this tournament so far. The highest number of kills acquired in a single map. And he set that bar. Do you think that record will be shattered today?
I don't think anybody is going to touch 40 kills in this series. I think it's going to be a lot closer. But if you are a global esports supporter, you're hoping that everyone pops off. If you are a supporter of Orangutan, you also hope that Tesseract and Shooter at least get off to a good start. We've got the agent compositions on our screen, and this is something I wanted to point out, but for now we look at Orangutan's agents because there's an Astra on the other side. That's what I wanted to focus upon. But for the side of Orangutan, it's pretty standard. Jet, Omen, KO, Sova, Tesseract on the Sova, Persia is going to be playing the Killjoy, and it's going to be Vibor on the KO. No major changes. One thing I noticed about the side of Orangutan is that they do not vary their compositions too much. On the other side of Global Esports, they've run 3 initiators on this map in the past, and they're going to do it this time again as well. They did it versus OG, if I'm not mistaken, and this time they've got an Astra. DJ Scales is going to be playing that Astra. This is going to be a crazy, crazy series to watch, and teams might not be used to playing against the Astra. Oh. You're so used to certain agents, you haven't played against Astra in a while. It takes a little bit to understand the patterns and the tendencies of an Astra main and how you want to deal with that.
Not just that, the surprising part is that this is OG's map pick. OG are the ones who have picked up Ascent as their own. Meanwhile, last time the two teams faced each other, Global Esports had picked Ascent. Do you know what that tells me? It tells me that the one common map between all these series has been picked up by OG because they're so confident. I mean, sure, OG always bans Split, but Global Esports have banned Icebox because this happens to be OG's strongest map, which makes sense.
And Breeze has been banned as well, right, by Global Esports?
Yeah, this has to be super, super interesting. I mean, when you guys have a team like OG picking up your map pick, a map which used to be Global Esports' home turf, that really has to scare you, right? What's going to go on in their minds? How dare they do this to us? That's what they're going to be saying.
How dare they indeed, Crips, because Orangutan, they knocked Global Esports to the lower bracket. Global Esports fighting for their tournament lives versus Orangutan themselves. It's the lower bracket final. It's Orangutan versus Global Esports, and we've got Crema and X-Warrior to take you through it. Take it away, lads.
Chennai, we are here. We are here, and there is one thing I want to say before we get started, and I think you know what that is. Who? Get it started, everybody. Get it started. It is going to be a good game, and it's good to be here with everybody. It's good to be here, Crema. You've been a witness to this the entirety of the playoffs, and now I'm here to join you.
I'm glad to have you here, and I'm glad I brought you in because I brought you in at what might be the most intense game of the tournament so far. We thought it would be Velocity Enigma in Val Classico. It actually wasn't. Global did very, very damn well there. Now we have Orangutan, who have kind of come out of nowhere. They're a new team. We expected them to do relatively well. We weren't expecting them to decimate teams to the extent in which they did. Now, Global in the lower bracket meet Orangutan once again with their shots for vengeance.
It is a shot for glory. A victory today will mean the qualification spot to VCT APAC, and I'm sure both of these teams will be looking to take this on. Now, we've had some great analysis happening prior to this matchup. Haven is where we'll get started upon, and it will be the Orangutan side to be starting off on the attacking, while Global Esports are on the defense.
On the attack of Ascent. As Global.
Did I say that wrong?
You said Haven.
Oh, wow. Good on me. Good to start the day right. Yes.
Welcome to SA.
Welcome to SA.
Orangutan, they're going to be going for a fairly early hit to A. A very passive hold from Global means a retake setup. Maybe the objective here. 1 or 2 kills would be great, but unfortunately it's Rossi who is very alone under Heaven here.
On the side they may go. Shooter with the first blood of the game. A site is fully under their control, and they only drop one player on the Global Esports side. Now, looking to take this fight from a couple fronts. Moving into the shot. Shooter is the one in command to take everybody down. No one can do a thing against them, and that is troubling for Global Esports. Very difficult for them to enter now. Only one left, but that will not be for long. The round is over, and it goes in favor of the attacking.
I'll tell you what, for Shooter, if this is going to be a taste of what's to come, we've got a Pakistani powerhouse who's now firing on all cylinders. If he's consistently able to mimic what he just did in the pistol round, then we really, really need to see SK Rossi step up. Now, I said to you a bit in the pregame when I was sort of describing these teams. The player I want to highlight is Tesseract. Yesterday, he averaged about 35 kills. It may have actually been more. That's how bloody good he is. Now, he may not be able to do it against Global, but the only person in the tournament who could actually mimic that is SK Rossi. So Rossi and Tesseract now, even though it's a Chamber versus a Sova, on paper the Chamber wins that every time. Not necessarily the case here. Orangutan slowly push through mid here, but they're running into a stack, and for Global, this may be a beautiful read from Hellranger.
A matchup we've seen a couple of times so far, and it's Orangutan to come out on top, and most of them, especially when it most mattered, playoffs, and now there is no return. Lower bracket run, seeing if they can make it to the grand finals of Skyesports Championship here. The Champion Series of Southern Asia. Orangutan onto the B side. It looks like they want to enter. Will be greeted by Kappa. Close by. but spotted. Now, Orangutan. The plan is clearly given. Look how quickly Global Esports are rotating over. All 4 players are on this side. And with a fast push onto the A site as well, they've got clear ground to stick around. No reason to rotate. But as we do say that, there's a pivot towards mid.
We've seen that Orangutan have been one of the most tactical teams this tournament thus far. Fakes, double fakes, absolutely not out of their arsenal.
Oh, Shorty, close. Oh, trigger discipline onto that end, but still, Orangutan getting the better end of it. Better weaponry means a victory. And for that reason, only 1 player left, the player absent from the A site. And the B completely opened up for the spike plant.
Rossi, maybe a few exits would be nice here. But remember, Pavlos, you're on an eco. 2 kills is really all you're aiming for. 3 is nice. 4, you're starting to try and win the round here. It's still just an eco. We're still only 2 rounds in. And I want to quickly talk about the veto here. We're on Ascent as our opening map picked by Orangutan. And this isn't only a strong pick for them, it's also a statement. As Vivek said in our panel, Global used to main Ascent. This used to be their mainline map in series. They've sort of faded it out. We're now seeing Fracture make a little bit more presence from them. But nonetheless, Orangutan now picking into it. It's a chance to sort of fight a GE on their home territory and still have a very high chance of winning.
This is going to be close, that is for sure. What I do love is that the fans are absolutely pumped up about this one.
Yeah.
We've been leading up to this finals weekend, and today might as well be the grand final, right? We're talking about a lower bracket run, the lower bracket grand final. And for that reason, you know, everything is on the line. Trying to get most of that prize pool in. It's Scrousey to start things off strong. Vipul will be trading it back at it, but Orangutan will be attempting to open up this map early to grab early space, but denied so far by Global.
Really strong push from Rossi there. And for Global now, as they sort of stagnate a little bit, I've always found that 4v4s actually favor the attacking side. And so for Orangutan, you see them now group up, they stack up, they realize that they are going to have an easier time isolating players here, or sort of pockets of players, pockets of resistance from Global here, who have put quite a lot of vision over to mids here, sort of leaving A site relatively unguarded. They do still have the odd bit of defense here from the Astra, some stars potentially for a retake, but Hellranger's aggression, yes, it's going to be able to outflank Orangutan, but will it come quick enough?
Look how comfortable Global Esports are to go for a retake here. The site will be fully taking over by Orangutan, not greeting any sort of attack from the Global Esports side. But they do get a little bit too greedy. Drop a player already, which will put them onto their back foot. Now range, a little bit too far out of his step here. Flash will be on point. Oh, shots were as well. Did you know he connected onto Ghost there? Tensions are rising. But still, Orangutan yet to drop around. Will like to put this in the bag as well. Won't be an easy one. Skills getting it done. Quickly trade it back onto the side. They go. Ghost and Persia will keep it going. Switching up that time, but triple for them to get things started on Haven.
Persia, he's just built different. The Killjoy from under Heather. The same position we saw Rossi play on the pistol round. But it's Persia showing Rossi, actually, this is how you're meant to do it, buddy. And they do so with ruthless efficiency now, having shut down the full bite of Global in what is a bit of a bonus from Orangutan. They come out the gate swinging. They're looking mighty strong here, Pavlos. And for Global, I want to see a big change in strategy. What I particularly want to see is some more aggression. That flank worked well, but if it had come moments sooner, they could have stopped the whole attack regardless. There is going to be a From the Shadows and a Blaze Storm available for Orangutan. No ults on Global, no weaponry either, means the odds are heavily stacked against them in this round here.
You start to wonder what on earth happened that previous round, right? Because Global Esports had the right numbers, had multiple fronts to work upon, but simply when trades come to shove, Orangutan had the crossfires. I may have said this is Haven twice already, but I have no clue why I'm doing that. I don't know. It's just stuck in my brain for some reason.
When we got our veto list, the first ban was Haven, and so you read the first one and think, Haven.
Haven.
No, we're definitely on Ascent.
Definitely on Ascent.
I also want to highlight that even though the odds are against them, Rossi is still alive. He's just got 2 kills and brought out a tour de force. Orangutan now actually may have to sweat a bit because they're running straight into that tour de force.
What I love about Orangutan as well, even though they've lost 2 players in this particular round, I think it gives them kind of a benefit to talk about the fact that they are the only mixed squad to remain in this tournament so far, right? The other 2 fully Indian, but we've got representation from Pakistan, Philippines, South Korea, all of them kind of coming together in this squad. And it's a good thing that they do find a pick early on so far, because they've been down a bit. Scrosi has found a lot of damage earlier on. So looking to bring it back here. Movement towards Short. Short, well, the Sheriff won't be able to do too much. Skills will be bouncing back, though, keeping things square. But Ghost wanting to go for the hunt here, denied by Skills. And now we're down to 1-on-2. Tesseract needing to get the kills here, running out of time. Either goes for the spike plant or for the full commit. Starts to run out of it. Knows where the final player is. Will be sideswinging it, but Tour de Force would get the job done. And that will be Global on the board.
Rossi filling Tesseract's chest cavity with air there. Also airing his teammate on the fist bump. Eventually he does get it. He redeems himself. But for a moment we saw proper ice cold from Rossi. And that was my win condition for Global. Tesseract is expected to show up for Orangutan. But Rossi, while he definitely, in my opinion, can peak higher than the likes of Shooter, than the likes of Tesseract, he's certainly more inconsistent. We're seeing an early operator come out from him as well. I like this as a chance to build up some confidence, because this man, Pavlos, you'll learn very soon, he's a wee prodigy.
This region tends to bring out quite a lot of prodigies, not going to lie.
Yep.
Although early opening here for the Global Esports side, they're going to like it. Dwindling down the numbers of the attacking. Fairly default on their approach, scouting on info, kind of trying to bait out utility. Scrosi! As soon as he's challenged, he makes it look easy. And the Orangutan struggling even more. Last time around, they were able to find a couple more kills, but Scrosi just quickly gets out of there. A quadra for him! Single-handedly taking them down. It shouldn't be this easy. One bullet left in his rifle, but he doesn't care. One bullet is all he needs because he's only up against one. And I love the fact that his teammates are letting him go after it. It's not as if he's got an operator. It's a high-risk weapon to lose. They don't care. Let's get this kill. It's not going to be Scrosi to get it, but he does fall. And a magnificent round here for the Global side.
Really strong round, and we said Rossi needs to wake up. We said Rossi needs to be the man to deliver, and I tell you what, Pavlos, he does just that. Now that operator's not only out, it's established, and it is doing some real high-impact fragging now. If you look over to Orangutan, I want to highlight is that sometimes Shooter doesn't wield that operator. Instead, they sort of pass it down, and it's down to who's feeling it, who actually wields it. So Rossi doesn't really know who his operator dual opponent is yet, and that does give the element of surprise to Orangutan. However, surprise doesn't last very long on Rossi. His reactions are that good. And as you can tell from the from how we're hyping people up, you'll notice that me and Pavlos, we put out some predictions, didn't we?
We did. I said that Orangutan would probably win this out 2-1, and I kind of took that on the basis of the previous matchup they had in the upper semis.
Yeah.
But you had a different idea, didn't you?
I did. I said that Global would take it 2-1. Now, as someone who's sort of seen these teams for quite a while, what I really like from the established, like the proper big teams, your Goliaths, like Enigma, like Velocity, like Global, is they have such significant support stuff that 2-1 losses like that don't happen frequently, and they never get repeated. And so now that we're seeing a day or so break between Global's games, it means that now they've had time to adapt, they've had time to set in, and they've also had time to figure out what's required to beat Orangutan.
And now a new frontier. Orangutan losing 2 in a row after losing to a pistol. Can't feel great. Recovery is necessary. I like how Global Esports are taking space early towards short. That clears the entirety of mid. Pretty much holds it down to a B hit or an A crunch, but the B hit will commence and they know of it. Rossi will hold it down. Lightning fast. It is going to be as such. They hold it down before it even begins. Orangutan are just left questioning, why on earth did we just peek that?
Why on earth do you peek Rossi, right? I mean, in itself is a dangerous ordeal. Hellranger, look at the aggression from Hellranger here. Able to give up those aftershocks, but bullets will do just that bit better. It's all to Persia, Sheriff in hand, and 5 players to kill. All of which have a good suspicion as to where he's coming from. There's a flash drive, it's a little bit delayed. Hellranger able to get that kill. A 3K from Hellranger, and now that Global have got some weapons, they're really looking quite strong. But for Orangutan, what makes them effective isn't their ability with weapons, it's their ability to support one another, and the other crucial thing that we don't see from many other teams in SA is their ability to fake and double fake, play the mind games, where they really do reign supreme. For Global, they really had a hard time adapting to that in our first series. Let's see how they fare in the rematch now that Orangutan have been able to bring out the rifles, they have the ults to wield, in fact they even have an ult advantage going into the start of this round.
Haven't seen too much bait and switch so far from them. Although alluded to, now we're kind of seeing a split towards A and B, although most of the powers are towards that A site. Spike far back indicates they're not looking for a direct hit. Pacing is slow, but Skills can hear footsteps towards this side, knowing there's commotion. Global Esports don't respond.
I like how Global have been really, really quiet. They don't want to give information to Orangutan because that's something Orangutan will station execution off of. Instead, they're making Orangutan just default setup execution, and it means that while they do lose a lot of orb control, and we see it now from Orangutan, you have an advantage with that extra null command, and with that null command, the Rolling Thunder can't be used for a retake here. So Global's static defense is going to have to be perfect here, or Orangutan are going to be in pole position to take this.
Push will commence. Shooter already on site. Null command. Initialized. A site under attack. Again, Global Esports happy to hand this over. Looking for some pot shots through the smoke, barely connecting. But the lockdown bow will be the differentiating aspect. Could delay the spike to tick down quite substantially. Is this enough time for the rotation to come through? Aftershock denying it. Oh, the Rolling Thunder will deny even further. They're looking to push forwards. Hunter's Fury is enabling them. They're able to find the first kills out of this matter. Tesseract with another one. What a marvelous Hunter's Fury. But lightning fast drops out of the shadows and gets two with a Cosmic Divide, allowing the commitment of the spike. Lightning fast with another double, but it simply isn't good enough. OG take over. It's Orangutans to win it.
Pound there from Orangutan. And we mentioned it. We said if Orangutan get to this site with that null command, the retake from Global just won't be there. And it absolutely ruined them. And now that Orangutan, even though, yes, they did lose a few players here or there, it's about clean as execution as you can get, right? Now, bear in mind they used that null command to use their abilities as ultimates. You need to have, in fact, dumping 3 ults as well. That's not something you can do every round. It's not something you can repeat. And so I want to see default strategies that just work for them. You look over now, it's going to be a very fast push through B main here, with Lightning Fast almost solo here. No one really to support him, bar the info gather from Kappa, but that's it.
Flash drive coming off. Push forward, but Global Esports seem to be fending it nicely. Look at the response. They're all so close, but Shooter doesn't care about smokes. He pushes through them. Onto the side though, Persia looking for a side angle, but Lightning Fast is here again. Only 10 points of health, but he's done so much. But Ghost wants to turn around, denied. So fast-paced are these rounds, and it's only down to Persia. Spike touched. When is he swung by? They're playing it so cautiously, no reason to take risks. Persia wants one though. Knows where one is. Hides away for the left angle. Hey, Ranger. He's ready to approach. Lingering. Oh, not a shot, not a chance. Skills gets it done.
I love that. I love that from Global. The fact that Lightning Fast as well, once he gets his ultimate, he stops fighting. Instead, he sits back sight, pops an ult command, and then ends up playing crossfires with the rest of his team. And it works beautifully. The stagnation from the KO abilities mean that Orangutan can't play quickly. Now that Orangutan down to a sort of an adaptation, I really want to see more of a presence in mid-control, more of a concerted effort to shut down Rossi, and then get that mid-control to split from either side. We see from Global, the way they hedge their A defense is by just stacking 3 players in tree and then retaking. If you can crunch on them, if you can pincer them, then you're going to be able to go into a retake in what would probably be something like a 4-on-2, which is going to be impossible for Global to win.
There is a lot of noise in the stadium right now. But that's not the case for the players right now. Calm their nerves, cool them a little bit. Global Esports taking this time out, looking to see how they can recover, how they can sustain a lead. Seems like Shooter's gone for a little bit of a walk.
honestly, I don't blame him. Why not? Go relax. Take your time and
stretch those feet.
For now, Global with a pretty strong position to be in. I'm interested to see if Orangutan they're going to attempt the same strategy here. That's bold.
Very quick on the approach here. Oh, Rossi getting it done! Lightning fast! More like lightning dead! Everybody has to die, and in a very quick fashion as well.
Yeah, bear in mind it wasn't a pretty buy, so it's not much that can be really... You're not trying to garner too much, but I'm interested to see if there's going to be any precision to mid. Yes, these fast strategies, I mean, yeah, you can trade one another, but you're running into sites where, bear in mind, Global are one of the few teams left on the planet who still run Astra, and that global presence of utility means that rushes just aren't an option.
Orangutan so far have had a couple of strats, and that is the split play or fairly fast aggression. Rossi denied, finally taking down the big leader of Global Esports, the high hitter. Could this be the opportunity to find their way back in?
Ghost, this timing on the flank is going to be crucial. He's about to be caught out as he runs skills. Oh, it comes to a hair's breadth. Here comes the Hunter's Fury, and Ghost may become collateral damage. That he does. There's the opening. That's perfect for Global.
From garage to spawn, a kill that simple. It shouldn't be. And now Orangutan looking to find their way back in. An off push from spawn, though. Look at skills. He's going to be such a massive menace. If Orangutan don't check behind them, they'll be in trouble. Recon to the side. Oh dear. This is where it comes down. Skills.
Oh, he's so good.
Try and test me. And Shooter, all that remains is scratching his head, wondering where on earth are his teammates. No longer on the comm line.
A 1v4. I mean, Global are relatively split apart. This is doable in theory.
Not in time, though. 13 seconds. All Global Esports have to do is run and hide, but Lightning Fast is never going to do that. Peeks in, says hello. Quick kill. Global Esports seem in control.
Really, really strong presence from Global at the moment, isn't it? And as you look over to the members of Orangutan, I feel like this has been a fairly one-dimensional attacking side. I'm really interested to see if their defense varies any other way. But we have seen this same kind of push to B control 3 or 4 times now, and it's not worked once. They're down to pistols once again for the penultimate round of this first half, and while they do have an ult advantage, will that matter?
Spammerino from Lightning Fast there. Wouldn't mind to get a few more kills so far. Such a good half he's had. Global Esports at least guarantee with the 6 that they are ahead at half, well, maybe equal at half time, but Orangutan aren't going to be very happy with this one, but they may have to give away on this because they've only got Classics, Bladestorm come out, Sheriff here from Tesseract, not looking fruitful in terms of economy. Global Esports still stack though. 3 towards the B site. Mid control given over. They don't want to fancy the push.
The Orangutan have gone pretty quiet, and I like the fact they're stagnating now. You look at the rotations from Global, you see they're still questioning presence, which is where Orangutan really thrive. It's catching players off in these rotations. Once again, they list over to be Lightning Fast, the main man to be called to action.
They knew of the mid absence, no info there. Now they've just spotted out movement in garage. Lightning Fast's information gathering will be fruitful. Flash drive over. Not going to be simple and Teba walking to his crosshair like that.
Right there.
And as soon as it started, the push stops. Now they're looking to push. It's a trade. Flashed over, though. Nothing they can do. Having flashpoints and flash drives isn't enough. They want more. Up and shot. There you go. 7 and 4.
It's just perfect, Pavlos, and I really think that for Global, they're at a stage now where if they just keep feeding Rossi this confidence, they could really prove to be a team to fear. They really, really could be here. And the likes of Tesseract, the same 35 average kills player we saw, he's not here today. He's having a very, very quiet, very quiet start, but still the start. The night is still very young, Pavlos, and both of us predicted, even though we disagreed as to who would win it, we both predicted 3 maps.
We did indeed. We knew from their previous meetings this was going to be a close endeavor. So far, showing it is. But for Orangutan to stay in contention and not really allow Global Esports to gain tempo on the attacking side too quick is for them to close this out with a bang. They've lost 4 consecutive rounds. They need a win. Definitely not looking as strong as they did at the initial vestiges of this game. Oh, damage perhaps to be found. Missed opportunity for Rossi. He's being challenged. There is utility thrown at him, but it doesn't seem like Orangutan really want to throw bodies at him, though.
Of charges. Blinding.
He's left one pass. Skills is there to deliver though. Gravity well to bait them into the open, but they don't care. Paranoia through. Won't be catching one of them though. Onto the sideline. Skills is good enough to hold it down, and Global Esports not going to drop it. 5 in a row for them. Orangutan may look lost. They need this next half to be it for them.
I'm worrying a little bit, Pavlos. I'm worrying a little bit here for Orangutan. I think Shooter's having a very good game. Shooter is having a very good game. But for Shooter, what good will what good is that when reflected? Yes, you get openings, yes, you get trades, but you're failing to get to sites. And right now, Global have just kept them at arm's length. They finally get to go to their defense, but at an 8-4 half, the reality is Orangutan really need this pistol round. Otherwise, Global are going to start sort of gearing themselves up, amping themselves up to just close out the map.
This definitely calls for a switch of pace. Global Esports so far fairly in demand on the defense, but what can they do on the attack? Early presence on the B site. Little bit of a swing towards a main from Orangutan does indicate the absence of their opponents, and by process of elimination, they know the push will commence. That's all right. Swinging by, quick headshot, still traded. But they're still very slow, lingering on their approach. Flash drive, not good enough to take Tesseract down, but holds off the side angle, waiting for assistance. Persia forward, looking for damage. Global Esports find entry without too much difficulty. Rossi will try and hold it down. Goss to try and deny it, but to no avail. It's all down to Shooter here. The Duelist, the Jet, dash enabled, will fall back from it. Too difficult, too softened up, not impossible. Recon to the side, knowing he's got to come from the right side. 2 grouping up together towards the left. Ooh. That's 1. No way. 1 HP. Kappa takes him down. And that is OG carrying it onwards.
Once again, Pavlos, OG. What I quite like with Shooter is it's the same phenomenon I use with Rossi, and I used it with Tesseract yesterday as well, which is no matter how unwinnable the situation, if he's alive, it looks like there's a chance. Regardless of what the scoreline is. You see the Global interns right now celebrating quite a lot, and for good reason. This is a dominant start to a series. Remember, Pavlos, this series dictates whether or not you get VCT APAC.
So much on the line. One of the biggest stages in the world. APAC proven to be top 4 in the world. Representation by Paper X. So much more to offer. Orangutan going for something risky. You can't expect that on an eco. Of course, without too much funds, too many funds, rather. Too many weapons, not many options for them.
I like how they've closed that door as well, with Hellranger on the other side of it. It means Tesseract doesn't expect Hellranger to be there at all. It's laboured, sure. Gets that kill. That's 10 for Global. And the Orangutan that I was expecting to see isn't here yet. It's a very disappointing start from them. But remember, it's a 3-map series. There is always going to be time for for them to wake up. And Fracture is not exactly a map they shy away from, is it?
It really, really isn't. There's a lot of pressure mounting, that's for sure. And Orangutan seeming a little bit lost. Keep in mind, they've lost 7 rounds in a row now. But now they've got weapons. Maybe this is where they can come alive. Rossi spotted. And able to shut him down. There you go. Good opening kill there by Shooter to open things up for the Orangutan side. And now they just stay composed while the rest of Global Esports look to fancy this A site.
They really do here with Global making a small rotation now up to short. This is a really heavy short commitment here. This is going to be a huge battle for Tree, and Orangutan have read it relatively well. Already a player up. All they need to do is get this first kill on the players crossing up short, and then they've won the round.
A flash is awaiting over from main, as well as a fault line you can expect to come forwards. That's what happens. Stunned up, concussed, still able to find one. The trade, they'll like it. Global Esports though, crumbling under pressure. Kappa trying to keep things square, but Vipul denies. Hellranger, what can you do, you sneaky man? That's one. And now that's a Vandal right in front of him. Flash forwards, looking for the weapon, finds it, spike in front of him. Oh, that could be massive! Concussing them, draws out the classic. Not getting the kill. That cannot happen. Missed opportunity, and Orangutan will be able to find a round.
My heart goes out to Hellranger there. That was pure, unfiltered panic, wasn't it? that was real panic. And now, well, at least for the members of Orangutan, that's going to be a pretty strong position to be in. Now, what is really for me going to be the biggest thing to worry about is how Global react, because we've seen that this is a team that can have their confidence shaken. Orangutan, while they have had a fairly rough start, the reality is when they're playing well, nothing really stops that. Even if they have kind of unfortunate timings and misplays, they still play well. Whereas for Global, they are prone to being shaken, being worried, being stomped. And for Persia, my God, did he take that to heart? Stomping down onto Global there and bringing Orangutan yet another round. Remember, Pavlos, this map is definitely not over.
I mean, talk about Anika, right? It should have been won. But the fact that they won it like that, so explosively, just kind of taking them down, feeling it while they do it, it's good signs to come. Really builds up that mental. They needed a flawless.
Absolutely. And look at Global now. Just instantly call for the timeout. I like it. It's a chance to try and stop yourselves from being tilted too much. But what you're also doing is you're breaking the momentum of Orangutan as much as you can. And as this timeout does slowly tick over, I'm really interested to seeing a change in pace here. I would love to see a very fast round. We did see it kind of somewhat attempted on, I want to say, round 12 for the pistol rounds, where Global did just bomb at that B site, and it worked. I would love to see that attempted again, even if it's just with Spectres.
Global Esports have been using their timeouts well so far. I think when they did use it the previous half, they were able to spree quite a lot of rounds in a row. Whether that will be the same this time is definitely to be proven.
You look at the ult management as well here. While Tesseract does have the initial advantage with that Hunter's Fury, over on Global, we are seeing skills one away from that Cosmic Divide, which should match it. And here's that fast play that we were wanting.
Very quick. Rossi already on the site. Fault line, though, will be concussing him, though he gets it done. Persia on the site, looking to find cover behind the boxes. Side swings it, but overwhelmed by the angles. Now, Global Esports with command. Orangutan not seizing pressure, looking to push in. Damage onto Hellranger, but the fight goes down. Swing by, running out of bullets. Shooter trying to push through, but Vipul shuts. Ghost gets it. 2-on-4. Shut down from behind. Shooter the only man surviving, but not for long. Out of his misery, Skills gets it. And Global Esports back on top.
Really, really strong. I'm glad they listened to me, Pavlos. I'm glad they listened to me. Went for the fast play. But as we see Orangutan now moving into what will be a reinvestment, I'm pretty sure they have enough cash. For Orangutan, the counter to these kind of fast dives into B over to A is by aggressing elsewhere. We see something that I believe actually Global have done a few times to some teams, is this huge crunch through mid to land outside of B main. I would love to see Orangutan attempt that, just to try and catch Global off guard while they're trying to hold up the nose, so they're trying to get to B main as quick as possible.
I want to test something out. And I want the people in the arena to listen to me well. I want to hear the presence of Orangutan fans and Global Esports fans. First up, Orangutan, give me some noise! Come on, you can do more than that. Orangutan fans, give me some noise! That's not enough, guys. Let's see if Global Esports. Let's see if Global Esports have got more. Let's see if Global Esports got more. All right. Global Esports fans, let me hear it!
I like how what's been adopted have been football shouts as well.
Yeah,
like,
I mean...
They've all just been adapted to whatever.
Why not?
Whatever fits the circumstance. You look at the ult management here, Rossi instantly bringing out that tour de force. Orangutan still have a Blade Storm available, still got Hunter's Fury to maybe even garner a bit of an early advantage. And we've seen from Tesseract, when he uses that Hunter's Fury, like 9.5 times out of 10, he gets 1 or 2 kills with it. I've rarely seen a fruitless Hunter's Fury from him, and it's a sort of testament to how good he is as a Sova. For Global, yes, they have a Hunter's Fury, but they do still have that null command to try and allow a retake to come out. There's that null command. B4 now has to press off the back of it, but he's good for 1.
Close by, Viport. Quickly trading. Scrossy. Oh, Rossi. Morado. Been making mistakes on that name for a while, but... Oh, finally gets it done. Third time's a charm, but Shooter wants to bring it back for Orangutan. Short control is there. Spike now down. And the defensive side seems to have control. Rossi goes by. Oh, lightning fast on the reaction timing.
Ooh, Persia. That's a clean kill. And Rossi, he doesn't want anything to do with this. He hightails it out of there, Pavlos. For Orangutan, this will be 7. Remember, an 11-7 differential isn't much. 4 rounds is only really 2 full buys. There are going to be ecos, there are going to be kind of half buys in and amongst that, which are actually going to pave the way for Orangutan to make a bit of a comeback.
Poor Rossi. Just an alarm bot rings, and then all of a sudden, hot lead flying past him and then into his chest. Kind of an ugly way to die, but at least Orangutan get around to go their way and have a breather to work with.
They really do. And I think space to breathe is going to be crucial. Bearing in mind that you're going to be in a position where the likes of Global, the likes of Rossi, for instance, he's going to have a standout round. I mean, Lightning Fast is probably going to have a standout round where he kills everyone. There's nothing you can do about it. Even if your strategy was sound, he just won. Having that round as like a cushion is going to be really instrumental for Orangutan here, who have a huge ult advantage as they go into this next round. Yes, Global can buy, but the cash is going to start running out soon. It's not the gift that keeps on giving, as Rossi may attempt to be here with the entry to A.
That fragment was so perfectly timed. Skills. Either went backwards and take a lot of damage or go forwards, but there's no follow-up from that. Drop a player instantly. Orangutan on top. Look at the ultimates, though. 4 of them available. It could be used whenever it is necessary. Global Esports seem a little bit lost, looking to find their way in now. Moving into short. Ghost with the TP. That's going to put question in the wind. Does fall back from it, though. Unable to get spotted, but it is the site that they're pushing towards. There is one hiding out, though. Vipor taken down, and that's Global Esports equalizing. Shooter on the upper end, still able to trade it. Orangutan do have the numbers, but it's Global Esports with site control.
I'll tell you what, Shooter has really woken up these last couple of rounds. He is really starting to have some impacts, and if he's allowed to run rampant into the site, absolutely will. There's the lockdown. Shooter now looking to get some kills.
Last player standing.
Shooter tripling it up, give him a quadra, and that's exactly what Orangutan needed. Quick win in the back to close up that gap.
I guarantee you, if you are a global fan, you are starting to sweat because Orangutan have woken up and they are looking merciless. Remember, you're only on 11 rounds, Pavlos. You're not safe yet. And maybe even overtime won't render you safe. This is still Orangutan's map pick. They are on their home ground. They are still down, but my God, they are not out.
They'll never be out until they see that 13th round.
Yeah.
And when it's overtime and it's 13, that doesn't count. You know what I mean.
Yeah. You look at the buy from Global, though. That is not a pretty economy.
That's
they're,
rough.
they're trying to. They're doing the sort of standard Global buy, which is give Rossi a Vandal, then everyone else will sort of semi-buy around it, and then if Rossi kills everyone, awesome. If not, then you just recycle the Vandal by passing it to the next player. Early entry from Lightning Fast is going to be spotted out, but he's even able to shut down Shooter.
No
now that
way.
is clean.
They were able to win a very important pistol the previous half that was able to shape the tempo of their defensive side. Whether they do that again, it would be quite an impossible feat, but we've seen the impossible happening so far in this tournament. Look at the push from Garage, though. Orangutan just demanding space control.
Looks like it could be expected, though. Lightning Fast's skills are both sort of humming and ahhing about Persia. There's the catch out.
Oh, no way. Skills has got a Vandal to work with. Tesseract, though, putting him to its grave. An early funeral for the man. And Orangutan now trailing. Looking to fall back to the safety of their sights. But thankfully for them, they've not given away too much control towards it. Kappa in charge. 1 HP on one of them. Hellranger falls, but we're down to a duel. Spike to be planted towards the B site from the shadows to get the rotation quicker. But goodness, we're in for a treat. Doesn't go for the spike plant straight away. Ghost. Not sure of the position. Here's the plant. Paranoia comes out. Doesn't connect. Kappa to the left end. Swing is there. Damage inflicted. Kappa gets it. Map point for the Global Esports.
No armor, no problem. Down to a few hair's breadth of HP, but they're able to absolutely wipe Orangutan. And I want to highlight, Rossi kind of misplayed there. This was not perfect by Global. Rossi pushes solos away to almost lurk a little bit, but when you have the solo rifle, that's not really how you want to utilize it. Instead, once he dies, Skills retrieves the Vandal, and they punish Orangutan for the over-aggression rather than the defense if they'd stuck to, which would have garnered them that knife. Now Rossi has an operator, now Rossi's looking scary, and for Orangutan, they're on the back foot with only 2 ultimates to wield here.
Aldron across that A site. Vipor already out. That's not a good sign here for Orangutan. They're facing a loss on this map, and they can't afford it to go down that easily. Global Esports, though, composed. Desperate shooting here from Shooter. Quickly finding one, but the fact that he has to drop straight after that seizes mid-control for the Orangutan side. Global Esports take it as their own. Free real estate. But the Rolling Thunder will come by. Persia stunned up, still sticking close to that wall. An all-crucial position to keep this round in command for Orangutan. Skills pushing. It's all a matter of timing. Tesseract finding it. Skills so quick to react. Tesseract, he's getting it done. And now they've stabilized a 2-on-2, and he's looking to approach.
Tesseract, he has to be so wary here. Only 50 HP to work with. He needs Ghost to really have some impact here. Drone comes out. Hellranger spotted, but he's to be expected back to site. Skills gets that kill. It's all on Tesseract, but Skills!
He gets it done, ladies and gents. Skills will be able to put Global Esports on top on this series. The lower bracket finals starts with a bang for Global.
Oh my God, what a round from Skills there. The Astra, one of the last Astras left, you could say, and he's able to show exactly why this man survives and thrives. With that Global, they take Orangutan's map pick of Ascent in a very clean fashion, and now they get to have a real big glint in their eyes as they look over to Fracture, their map pick up next.
and Pavlos. And what a start to the series. Explosive for
Explosive
Global
indeed.
Esports. But the side of Orangutan, they're not going to be too pleased with themselves. They didn't have answers for the triple initiator lineup coming up from Global Esports. And the one thing I want to point out about that composition from Global Esports was the essence and the crux of that lineup, the Astra. The Gravity Well has literally 3 pieces of utility it can team up with. It's got the shock darts, it's got the fragment, it's got the aftershock. This is a dream Astra game. And take the abilities aside, I want to talk about how Skills played the map.
Yeah.
I was right next to the players for the last couple of rounds, so I was listening to Skills' comms.
Ha!
Blasphemy.
Cheater.
Cheater indeed. All casters are cheaters.
Of course.
But Skills, he has some insane game sense, okay? He's calling shit out. Like, there might be one player, they might have pushed, and they're all playing off that. The round which Kappa clutched, Skills gave a lot of valuable information. Also, Skills and his push when the score was 5-4. That push when he pushed out all the way through attacker spawn, looped around them, that push sealed the round for Global Esports and gave them momentum in that first half to take a significant lead. Skills has done this in the past. I want to remind you about Bind, where he was playing the Brimstone and he just jumped out of hookah and ran into defender spawn. This man is going unchecked. They're making fun of him, calling him DJ Skills, but he isn't a DJ. He is the orchestrator of Global Esports and their success.
Yeah, I think an orchestrator is more appropriate for a man of his caliber, for a man who has such great presence and control over the battlefield. DJ Skills is not an insult, it's just something that they call him lovingly, but he did drop the beat. He dropped all the bars onto Orangutan, and it's not just Skills. I also kind of want to capitalize, highlight the contribution by Kappa over there. His recon darts were not getting destroyed very often. Like, that's so rare, right? That's basically the first thing that gets shot. The first bullet that you usually shoot is usually a SO or recon dart. It wasn't getting destroyed very often. Plus, so much shock dart damage. I think it has a lot to say about Skills as well. They both combined all the stuff with each other. And, of course, Hellranger and his utility placement. There was this one round where Orangutan rushed into the A side and tried to plant the spike. Then they plant the lockdown to just buy a little more time. What does Hellranger do? He just destroys it with the aftershock.
Oh, yeah.
So easy, so simple.
Absolutely. It's a very eloquent solution to the Killjoy. It's a very affordable solution to the Killjoy. You're not looking around waiting for that Hunter's Fury and those ultimate orbs. You always got it by your side. The ever-reliable flash cannon, the fusion cannon that Breach runs around with. I also wanted to talk about Lightning Fast in this map. He was playing the KO, not an agent he plays often. Lightning Fast is the secondary duelist, if you want to call him that. He's been playing Raze.
He does play KO sometimes, quite a lot.
He does. But that's what I wanted to talk about. This man has such a wide agent pool. At the very beginning of his career, Kappa told me, this guy started out playing Cypher. So he can fill multiple roles for his team. And he's got firepower. Yesterday, literally on Hellranger's command, he entered multiple times. And this time, he's providing very adequate support as a KO. The flash points were on, the flash drives were on point today.
Yeah.
We've got the highlight scripts. My question is Hellranger snafu on the Breach in this? The one round where he dropped the Rolling Thunder, switched over to the flash, then switched over to the classic and died to shooter.
We don't talk about that round.
We don't talk about.
We don't talk about that round. That was a little bit of funny business. But yeah, in this highlight we will see one ridiculous clip by Mr. Lightning Fast, where he sprays down 4 people from B Cubby. This one area underneath the B market region. He's going to spray down 4 people. Do you remember that round?
I do, and do you remember Persia having similar success?
The same position, exactly the same position. And I thought, yeah, sure, Orangutan make a mistake, they don't check for the Lightning Fast around the corner, but then Global Esports make the same thing, and I'm like, maybe this position is cursed indeed.
Yeah, it's not just this series, and both these teams in those positions. In the course of this tournament, I've seen that position be abused multiple times. I think both teams had equal success with the operator. What I want to point out about Rossi is the rounds where they were just bum rushing aside. Rossi's playing chamber. He has no fear just pressing W with the chamber, which is not how one would normally equip or play the chamber. But Rossi does that. He's running in as if he's Jet. And it's great that your players...
This one.
Oh yeah, this round.
So yeah, this position where Lightning Fast got a quad kill from, Persia gets a triple from the exact same position, and I don't know what to make of it. It doesn't make sense. Both the teams making the common mistakes. It's very rare to see in this stage of the tournament. But there were several amazing rounds which OG was able to win in the first half, especially in the first few rounds of the game itself. But after that, Global Esports just string together round after round. They destroy the economy of Orangutan Gaming, and that's how they were able to get the lead in the first half of the game. But I want to point out something crucial about this round over here. Sure, there was a little funny business with Hellranger and his Rolling Thunder, but there was also a weird smoke placement by Global Esports right at the mouth of A3. Usually, if they place it inwards, the defenders have an advantage, but they placed it outwards. And this allows them to not choke as they are walking into this narrow little archway that lets you enter A3. It didn't pay off dividends for them, but I just found that it's a really creative smoke, and maybe they can make it work in some other situation, some other time. So that was one very creative utility usage by skills.
Oh yeah. If you are an Astra main, you want to look back at the ward, rewind, find that round, and look at that smoke. I want to look at the scoreboard, Crips, because there's a lot we can take away from it. For now, though, we'll just look at the winning moments. A pre-game huddle, a post-game huddle. United before and after, that's Global Esports for you. Now the scoreboard. Orangutan put together 8 rounds. I mean, when you place 13 and 8 next to each other, it doesn't look that bad. But it's nearly just half the number of rounds that Global Esports managed to put together, and Orangutan didn't reach double digits. Their defense did leave a lot more desired. Shooter did have a good game, a great KD ratio to work with, good ACS, but Lightning Fast is just better. And this says a lot about Lightning Fast. He's a very, very versatile player. KO does frag for sure, but you got a Rossi chamber on your team. And Lightning Fast has, outdone all his teammates and secured himself the MVP. If you look over at the statistics a little deeper on the side of Orangutan, Vibor had a really rough game.
Yeah, Vibor wasn't able to do all that much. Sure, his utility was getting the detection for his team, but you could almost never figure out if Global Esports were going to go for the full commitment or the fake. That's why the rotations from Orangutan, while they were successfully 3-stacking aside sometimes, it wasn't always on point. Another thing I noticed about Orangutan, especially on their attacking side, was that they split up towards A main and B main. And in the last few rounds of that attacking half, in the first half, they barely ever used mid. So that felt a little weird for me. Maybe they were just trying to go for these defaults without having mid in control. But that could have resulted in Global Esports getting that 5-round win streak in a row.
That's a bit surprising that you mentioned that, because yesterday, Crips, I had the privilege of casting the Orangutan versus Enigma game, and in that game, especially on Ascent, Vibor contested mid very heavily.
Exactly.
None of that was present. Both teams were fighting for mid, and luckily Enigma had a killjoy, but both the Omens, the Omen from Orangutan and even Antidote, both of them were heavily fighting for mid. This time, like you mentioned, we didn't see any of that from Orangutan.
Only in the last few rounds of that first half, but the rounds that they were able to get, especially the 3 rounds at the start of the game, they were fully based on mid presence, right? You have an A split, then a B crunch, then yet another A split after taking control of market. So sure, Orangutan were using that mid-region to get success early on, but later on, maybe something ticked them off. Maybe they decided they want to try something new. And the moment they abandoned that mid-region on their attacking side, Global Esports just got too much space to work with.
Well, we got some more numbers for you. Our numbers just a joy, Grips. 14,000 damage coming out from Global Esports, 12,000 from Orangutan, which is impressive considering the number of rounds that they won. In terms of headshot percentage, Orangutan have a slight lead. Primarily frag wins for Global Esports. Just one objective win for either one of these teams, and that's on the side of Orangutan.
Oh, and that makes sense on a map like Ascent, right? The moment these guys start to get into a site, the teams start brawling with each other at full pace. It's not even funny how these guys just disrespect the smokes and push right through them, especially in an attempt to stop these attacking teams from getting into post-plant positions. Almost every time, both the teams, they try to hop in within seconds of the spike getting planted or before it even got planted. They were thinking that maybe if they can stop these people from getting comfortable and setting up crossfires in post-plant, things could work well for the defenders. And they just pounced the moment they saw an opportunity.
Yeah, and I think we should remind those of you tuning in that, hey, this is Orangutan's map pick.
Yeah.
This isn't Global Esports map pick. The good news for Global Esports is that they started out on defense. Had they started out on offense, this could have been a completely different map. But who knows? Who cares? It's one best of three. It's not going to be replayed. And Global Esports, they're going to take map 1. There was another thing that I want to talk about is how Global Esports like to play when they have an advantage. They like to ensure that they are going to close out the round and close out the half itself. I remember there was a point of time in the first half where I think a bunch of players had 7,000 credits and they just go 2 ops and 1 Odin.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that as well, the double op setup. I have not seen Hellranger op very often. That was amazing.
He used to.
He used to at one point, but it's so rare to see breaches on operators, right? I mean, the only other person who I know that does that is Antidote.
On the kill shot.
Yeah, and that is also pretty damn good. But keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a best of 3. The next game is going to be Fracture. Orangutan haven't played a lot of Fracture. Global Esports, on the other hand, have plenty of Fracture experience. Now, this could be perceived in 2 ways. Because not a lot of information about Orangutan's Fracture playstyle is available, they could surprise the hell out of Global Esports. Or you can also look at it in this way, that Global Esports have the experience, and that's why they're going to win. If that's the case, then this is going to be a quick 2-0.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things about Fracture. Fracture is the most puggish map. I have been talking to...
Even more so than Ascent, are you sure?
It is pure RNG, Grips.
Okay.
I have spoken to 4 players from 4 different teams, and I pitched them this wacky idea that maybe Fracture should be a best of 30.
Now
they
you're
said
speculating.
It actually makes sense, Vivek. 99% of the time, Vivek, you barely are comprehensible, but this time you put forward a very valuable point. Having said that, though, let's not get into that. Fracture is a map where we have no data set for Orangutan.
Yeah, exactly.
No data set at all. I know more about how GST works than what Orangutan play on Fracture. I have no idea what they're bringing to the table. I heard a little rumor that good old Tesseract doesn't play Sova on Fracture, which should be pretty obvious. He plays the Brimstone instead.
Oh, but he's only ever played the Sova whenever I've seen him. And keep in mind that his Sova was instrumental for the little success that his team got in this round.
Yep.
They won the first 3 rounds of the game, and after that, every single round was taken forward by Global Esports.
Yep.
Except for this one round where Tesseract used the Hunter's Fury, got a bunch of kills, and then he was able to kill the last person with his gun instead. And this was, I believe, round number 7 in the first half, which was a massive battle of ultimates, where Orangutan used the lockdown and Tesseract's Hunter's Fury. Hellranger. He broke the lockdown with that Aftershock, and then they used the Cosmic Divide and Rolling Thunder on the back of it. And despite 3 ultimates being committed by Global, meanwhile only 2 being committed by OG, Tesseract was the last man standing for his team, and he made all the difference. And because of his performance, Orangutan were able to get that 4th round. Otherwise, the score would have been 13-3.
Yeah, Tesseract is a very key member of this OG cast. If he's not showing up, well, it feels like the team doesn't come together. I've got to also give kudos to Vibor. Vibor, although he had a very, very rough game 1 on Ascent Crips, he is instrumental for Orangutan's success. They are a tactical team. They normally do not win on frag wins. They win on objective wins. And despite winning so many rounds on objective wins, sometimes they've got to rely on people like Tesseract to clutch things out. Earlier on in the tournament, the last time OG and Global Esports played, Shooter had a big role to play. Can Shooter step up? That is really my biggest question. Because Fracture is the kind of map where a chamber can pop off, but not necessarily a jet or a neon. We have not seen too many successful neons on Fracture.
We have seen plenty of neons, but not all of them have been successful themselves. The best that they can do is just create room for their team and hope that your secondary duelist or anyone who's coming behind you can trade you and find success.
You just hit the nail on its head. It's the secondary duel that needs to find success, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be sprinting forward, or she's going to be sprinting forward on the neon. The problem is, the pace is very hard to match. The neon creates such a gap between herself and the secondary duo that they just can't catch up.
Yeah, and while trades are important, the agent selection, whether you pick a neon or not, also depends on your overall team chemistry, right? I've never seen Orangutan be comfortable with the neon.
No.
In fact, when you talk about Ghost, he may or may not have had a good game in this particular map, but he's played Omen and Sage very often. Whenever he picks Sage, it's usually on Icebox, which is a great map for a character like Sage. But honestly, on Fracture, the existence of Sage is debatable. Some teams like picking her, some teams don't like picking her. And while the Sage is a viable pick on a map like Fracture, who's going to play the controller in this case? And
for the side of OG, it's going to be Tesseract.
But then Tesseract, I mean, he's been comfortable with the SOA, I agree. And if he has to play the Brim, then that's the only choice he has, right? It's not like he wants to play the Brimstone. It's like the only choice he's got.
There are 2 permutations, combinations, really. Usually the SOA player is given the painful task of playing Sage. Okay?
But that's not going to be the case because Ghost is more comfortable on it.
Yeah. See, Sage, I mean, sure, there are these rare games where LF really pops off on Sage. But Sage has been an agent which is powerful on paper, but it's usually been reserved for Eagles. It doesn't find much success in competitive play. So
I kind of have to disagree with you. It's a situational pick. I agree. On Icebox, it's a damn good character. On Fracture, also, it's good enough, but only in the right hands and only if your team knows how to control the pace that way and play around you. But then again, let's say even if you do pick the Sage, even if Ghost does pick it, hypothetically, you're going to have Tesseract on the Brimstone. That does put him in a little bit of a comfort zone because you did mention he plays Brimstone all that often.
Yeah,
but
so the SOA player plays Brim or Ghost plays Brim. That's
going to be
these
the
are the
debate,
2
right?
options here.
Yeah.
I believe Persia is going to be playing the Killjoy. I don't know if you'll see a chamber coming out from Persia. I mean, you say Sentinel to Sentinel. If there is a chamber, it could be Shooter. Or am I forgetting anyone? I don't know what they're going to play. No data at all, friends. This is fun. It's going to be an exciting adventure. It's been one trying to predict what OG will play. And when Kremer and Pavlos get their hands on the game and the game goes live, they're going to be equally stunned as we are. If you are an OG supporter and you are in chat, do let us know what the heck it is they play on Fracture.
Yeah, but I would love this little switcheroo. I mean, regardless of whoever plays whatever agent, you gotta admit it, Global Esports were on top of this map veto. Usually Split and Fracture are the bans of Orangutan. They have never played Fracture before. They always ban Split, that's like a given. But then they weren't given the opportunity of banning Fracture. the moment OG picked Ascent, Global Esports were like, yeah, sure. You think you can surprise us? Well, buddy, I have one better for you. And they pick up Fracture, and I'm not sure how OG gonna face this one. Like I said, you don't know what they bring to the table. Who knows? Maybe they're gonna have something completely different.
Yeah, speaking of different, we've looked at Orangutan a lot in this segment, and we looked at their team composition. What do you think is going to come from Global Esports? We can predict a couple of things with certainty, right? Hellranger Brim, Kappa Sage.
No.
Kappa
One
Sage?
of them will be on the Breach, 100%. Either Hellranger on Breach or Kappa on Breach, on Fracture.
So who plays Brim then? Lightning?
Probably
Skills. Skills plays Brim.
Yeah.
Hellranger plays Breach.
Lightning Fast might pick up
Bhavin. Yes, Bhavin indeed. Bhavin's going to be playing the Breach.
Probably.
Skills is going to be playing the Brim. Kappa's going to be playing the Sage. Rossi is going to be playing Chamber. And Lightning Fast plays Raze. I think, I just want to point this out. Yesterday we saw Global Esports play. A big part of their success yesterday was how they take the B side. They have the cleanest B execute of all the teams I've seen on Fracture. It was really instrumental for their success. And there's one man, he's a bit of a madman. It's Lightning Fast. Hellranger will tell him to jump. He will jump. And he will jump with no fear at all. He may get the entry, may not get the entry. But it always works out. The trades are there. So look out for Lightning Fast on this map. He is the key player for the side of Global Esports. On the other hand, Crips, who needs to step up for Orangutan? What's missing?
I think Tesseract has been doing much more than he is supposed to do. So this guy is going to be obviously the guy who we need to look out for. But I kind of want to talk about OG's picks first. Shooter is playing the Raze instead, all right? And Ghost has picked up the Sage. Again, no surprises over there. We've seen him play Sage before. And for Global Esports...
I mean, that's how we called it.
Yeah, that's how we called it. So Global Esports has more or less no surprises over there. But OG, I want to see what these guys can do. And some of them, sure, will be stepping a little out of their comfort zone. But when it comes to OG, these guys are going to be pretty, how do I say, unpredictable. On the side of Global Esports, though, there's Raze on the Lightning Fast, Kappa on Sage, Hellranger on Breach, no surprise, SK Rossi on Chamber. Again, no surprise, and Skills on Brimstone. So we've seen this before from Global Esports, so that's probably why I'm not that surprised. But now when it comes to these guys, Vibhor is playing the Breach instead. Tesseract and Persia, they've picked up Chamber and Brim, so yeah.
It's Persia playing the Brim, and it's Tesseract on the Chamber. So Tesseract is playing Chamber, not Brim, not Sage. We were both wrong, Crips.
Oh, damn.
Anywho, when you look at these agent selection screens, you just realize how high the ceiling is in the auditorium. That's how high a level at these teams are playing, Crips. And we are going to be jumping into game number 2 to see some of the best in South Asia duke it out for a slot at VCT APAC. It's Global Esports versus Orangutan. Can Orangutan come back? Find out with Krema and Pavlos.
It is time to get started. It is time for second map of the series. And my, oh my, is it going to be a difficult feat for Orangutan to take over. Global Esports 1-0 so far.
Categorically, we move to Fracture, a map Orangutan on record haven't played. Like, Global, my heart, my credit goes straight out to a Hellranger. The size of this man's brain to have given such a strong veto to Global is really, really impressive. Now Orangutan are in trouble, serious trouble. Starting on the defense is their saving grace, but Tesseract, with the opening, is going to continue trying to give some saving graces over to Global.
A quick traderoo though, but that opens up things towards that A site. They do stop though. Press pause on that break and kind of rethink their options because rotations have already come through from Orangutan. 2 players hiding it out, but they're going for the swing. Tesseract falls, and the ball may come through towards the left to enable the push towards onto the site. Spike may even go down at this point. Aftershock won't do a single thing. The cross does come by, and quickly like that, Global Esports have control over the A site.
Orangutan already a man down as well. This retake's going to be so difficult. They need to kill Pavlos, and they need it fast.
It's going to be difficult task for sure. Two players on the global side are fairly low. Therefore, not impossible for Orangutan. Fault line. Calming off. Ghost. Concussed. Out into the open. Headshot to be connected onto him. Hellraiser battling it out here on the side. Looking to control it. Low, but still able to shoot bullets. Persia. Shorty kill. Touches the spike to put caution in the wind. Pushes through the smoke and gets a kill. Kappa with a sideline. Does spray him down. And that is Global Esports with first blood.
I can't help but think that as you look over to Orangutan here, what was the thought process that they fracture in the pool? Because they're Instaban. Yes, they don't like split, sure, but you've really got to worry about when you're a new team. You know, when you only play 5 of the 7 maps. When you go into a best of 3, you're going to be on one of those uncomfortable maps. You're going to be in difficult positions. And what Global have done, as the more established team, is just punish that. Categorically punish that. And while Orangutan, I'm sure they're vehemently against the idea of playing maps that don't have any stats on, I bet they still have some defaults. I bet they still have strategies. But as they go through this tech pause, we're going to see if there's any solution from them, and maybe anything that they can sort of pull out their pockets here to surprise Global.
Thankfully, it's a very short tech pause, and we'll be able to get into the game straight away. But as you do say, a fumble on the veto will mean that Global Esports will have a grand advantage. This is their home field, Orangutan. The biggest advantage they do have in this map is that we do not know what to expect in regards of strategy and composition as well. But now, I guess they've shown us. But it's amusing to me that it's a Ghost to find the first kill, considering Global Esports have got more weapons to play with. Orangutan trailing behind, a bit of a stack up behind Dish. Skrasi. They're playing it very composed.
Yeah, I really like this. They know that Orangutan want to fight for it. Vigor, oh, the timing doesn't quite favor him, but over from B it does. Lightning Fast gets that opening, and now B-Site's in big trouble.
Yeah, when you're spread out like that up against players that have better weaponry than you, it's never really going to go well with the trades. More often than not, you'll just fall dead as soon as you spot them. And that's exactly what happens here. Spread out across the map, they get picked off one by one. Site control handed over. Lightning Fast just demanding his space. Spike Plant will, of course, be given over, but I think this is the beginning of the end of this round here. Vipul falls, which means there is only one remaining. That may not last long. Tesseract stunned up. We'll be able to get away from that fault line, but they know exactly where he's coming from. Skills on the hunt. Flashed over. Spray down across. A flawless round for the boys in red.
Really, really. Bear in mind, it's a flawless round, yes, but the confidence you're building off of that, you're a map up, you're but moments away from going to VCT APAC, you're on your map pick, and to start it with a strong pistol round and a flawless anti-eco, that is as good a setup as you could ever ask for, Pavlos. Orangutan, we need Tesseract, we need Shooter to step up, otherwise this could be just a repeat of Ascent, where what was a very hyped up matchup may just end in flatulence.
Well, Orangutan, as he said, Byron now for them, of all important round to initiate them. This is where we kind of get an idea of how they like to approach this. Defensive side, you can see fairly passive, not really demanding space so far, and I can understand that when they've got better weaponry. Happy to go through these duels. But also want to make sure that they've got adequate amount of players spread out. This approach, footsteps hard, Stim Beacon, maybe to enable a quick play, but Paint Shields will deter it for a little bit longer. Tesseract with first blood here. Shoot onto the side angle. Skills elevated. And that's the entry on the A site. Skills will enable them to cross forwards, but they want more. Orangutan not really wanting to hold back from the tempo. They're moving into it, and it's going to be costly. Skills is holding it down. Spectres will be the ones to take it onwards. They shout, they prevail, they get themselves the third.
And they do so in ruthless ferocity. Pavlos, Global, they've stepped up. What I think is quite interesting with Global, and this is something that we've heard quite frequently, is these guys haven't made roster changes in, I want to say, 2 years. I know the chat will correct me if I'm wrong. It's about 2 years. Right? And in that time, when you have been together for 2 years, the chemistry built, the fact you're able to go into maps and just work like a symphony is something that cannot be understated. And what it means is when we have maps where SK Rossi is a little bit slower, you have the likes of Lightning Fast, you have the likes of Hellranger who step up, even Skills, even on Astra, he's able to step up. And being able to do that is such a big skill. It mitigates inconsistency so much, and it allows you to isolate that inconsistency and slowly work it out of your repertoire, you could say. As Global now get ready for a very slow control over to tower here through Divider. Ghost could be caught off guard if he's not careful. Remember, Ransai don't have weapons either.
Ooh, at the start, Orangutan had such a good read on this placing. Plenty in respect to the B site. Wall in response, jumping over it. Paint shell grenades, looking to deter, but you can't stop them forever. Little by little, crossing forwards. It's a bit messy, but they get it done. Ghost, the only one to find a player out of this chaos. Ripple looks to make it slightly more expensive, but with site control, with numbers advantage here for Global, it's hard to imagine this going elsewhere.
Spike planted.
Going for an opening here. Remember, for a 3-on-2 here, certainly not unwinnable for Orangutan. They need a kill, but they need it fast.
Yeah, this pick, when is it going to come in?
Ooh,
that's one. Can you find another? Nope. The crossfire is there. Both players treated with lead to the head. And it's quickly another round for the Global side.
I also want to take this moment to reach out personally to Tesseract and congratulate him, because this is the first map on record where he's not playing Sova.
Wow. It was alluded to previously on the analyst desk, right? Both Crips and Vivek kind of said, all right, he's very used to playing on this Sova, very used to kind of being on that role, and he's kind of unable to go aggressive, but you can't really do that on the Brimstone, can you? You can't really do that in general. When you're not playing your comfort pick either. So it's a little bit tough for them to kind of adjust here. But overall, I can imagine these guys have definitely been playing at this map with scrims and such. There's no way they allowed this map to float in the final of the lower bracket just because they think they can make it out at the last second. No, there's definitely some practice behind this. There's definitely some logic behind the madness.
What I'm interested is whether or not this madness has any form of order to it. And fun fact for you, Pavlos, this is the stat fact. You know, random isn't a thing. There is no such thing as random.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Because if you pick a number between 1 and 10, right, and then you ordered them in a random sequence, it's not random because something would have influenced which number you pick. And so that's pretty cool. And so maybe Orangutan can make something of that.
The butterfly effect?
Maybe there will be. I don't know, I'm just a caster. I'm here to talk about it. Oh, avoided the boombot now. I really like that. He's got really close to this attack. Does he know there's a player above him, though?
He's got no clue.
This is perfect.
Oh, he's got no clue. Flash coming through, and that will mean he will have to die onto the site. Global Esports with full site control. Aftershock to the side. Sky Smokes to enable the cross, but they haven't gotten the spike in that direction yet. Rolling Thunder in response, looking to challenge, looking to seize full control of this A area, and they will be very successful in doing so. Orangutan look lost. Tesseract swinging too far out of this depth, and he will be taken down to the depths. And Orangutan only left with 2 now have a decision to make. Rotate back away from this. Saving these weapons is what they're going for.
Understandably so. Understandably so, Pavlos. Remember, Fracture is ever so slightly attacker-sided. So, and actually it's probably one of the more attacker-sided maps in the pool. So I understand the requirement to sort of hold on to these rifles. So at least for me, around I need about 3 or 4 rounds. I think a 9-3 is absolutely recoverable for them. But yeah, they still need to get those 3 rounds. And with Shooter falling, these rifles, they're not being saved. They're not being saved at all, Pavlos.
Nope, denied altogether. And this really is showing why this is the home ground of global esports. And I reckon Orangutan right now are probably wondering, why the hell did we pick Ascent for the first map?
I really do worry for Global. Oh, sorry for Global. Don't worry about them at all. They're doing nuts. I'm worried
doing
for
fine.
Orangutan, who at the moment their defense hasn't been given any chance to breathe. Global have been so fast in these attacks, it's just been a matter of into position, execute. That Orangutan haven't been able to dictate any tempo whatsoever. Tesseract with a hero operator, yes, it may be the missing piece of the enigma, but is this remedied by only a single piece?
Well, aggression is shown from the Sheriffs. A simple flashpoint on top will keep things equal for them. So that's quite something to find when you've only got Sheriffs, but I'm sure they're looking for a little bit more than that right now. Switcheroo towards the other side, that may give leeway for Orangutan to pick up those weapons. But how do you fend off against this? Tesseract, Operator. Did they only invest in an Operator this round?
Fire in the hole!
Oh no. Hide away. Showstopper out into the open. Space from spawn. Tesseract looks to move out of the smoke and Skills just collects them. As simple as that. And quickly the site is all theirs.
Spike planted.
Spike down. Shooter, he is stacked up with a teammate here, so there is still a chance to trade. It starts to wield a bit of a utility. With Skills already low on HP, there's definitely a room for this to happen, especially with an orbital strike.
Yeah, and they found weapons now as well. No longer only playing with Sheriffs. Lightning Fast coming in with the backstab. It's timely. Shooter, nothing you can do about this. And now the odds are stacked up against Persia. Marginally Skills with a quadra this round. Fist bumps across the board. Very well done from Global.
Very well done indeed. And once again, it comes down to the fact that Orangutan aren't doing anything wrong. It's just they've not been given any chance to breathe. I want to see them find a way, whether it be through using all their utility early, by utilizing the Sage Wall a little bit more. I want to see them just push Global back and give them a chance to really set up, to establish these crossfires, to establish this presence, which they just haven't really had yet. Shooter, the player who was actually very strong on Ascent, yet to kill.
Ooh, was that a gap through the smoke?
You will not kill my
Well,
ally.
even if there is or there wasn't, it was found. Quickly traded, Resurrection, bringing back the Orangutan player. Which means Global Esports are lacking on that department.
They truly are here. Persia, call to action.
See ya.
Oh, that's a clean opening, and here's that stagnation I wanted to see.
Orangutan really not taking control early on, apart from that Sheriff round they had. But this in particular round, it's working out for them. There's no reason to over-aggress here. You polarize your players across both sites, 3 on A, 2 on B, and you know you've got some sort of power to fend off against it. And for now, the best possible outcome is coming towards them. The fact that they've got 3 on A is exactly what they want. This wall looking to block the side, but it won't be blocking out Tesseract on top of the box. Spray across. Oh dear! Skills and Kappa find it. Ghost on sight! Healing himself. Rossi shuts him down, and it's all down to 1 on 2. Global Esports put his faith in him to see if he can clutch this up.
Comes out with V-Ball, just finishes the job. Really, really nice retake. And I want to highlight how Orangutan got those entries. They get them by extending a little bit, gets the first player, everyone falls back, holds the main entryways, and once that second kill comes in, even though it's traded, it doesn't matter, because the rotations have already come into place. That's what the aggression from Orangutan was, that we were desperately awaiting to see. Really, really nice response now. But remember, Pavlos, this is a mere response. It's not a solution. We're still awaiting to see if this is something that can be mimicked. If it can, then this half is by all means recoverable.
Definitely doable, but it's a mountain to climb. Quite a big one. Quite a big one. Although not impossible. You said it, right? 5 rounds of difference, not too big, especially when you start lining rounds together. I want to see difference in approaches, though. Orangutan need to switch up their playbook to not be too predictable.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. And with Global positioned towards the top of dish here, Lightning Fast is the one to lead the charge. Now, There is a world here where a rotation of Orangutan gets here in time. Look at 2 players now already about to make their flank over to Dish.
Right here.
Ooh, they've already pincered 1 in. Make that 2. Can they find it? Flash is perfect. Shooter is accurate. And now Tesseract may have to fend up against another scoped weapon. Tesseract is there in charge, denying Chamber v Chamber, getting it done. And now Global Esports are on the back foot, heavily so. Finally, Orangutan gets something going for them. Tesseract for another shot. Exactly what they needed.
Absolutely. And there you go, there's that aggression. That aggression is so good when it comes from Orangutan. That's the missing piece. It turns out you only needed 1, and now they're building some confidence. Global need to figure out how to stop it, because if they cannot stop it in time, then we're going to see level pegging at the end of the half, and Orangutan in a beautiful position as they enter the second. This is still early days for the comeback, and we are still seeing operators come out from Rossi. The economy isn't broken yet. With an orbital strike on both teams, Orangutan, though, they've also got that resurrection. They've also got that showstopper. And unfortunately for Global, the show very well may stop if they're unable to stop the aggression of Orangutan.
It seems like a big B hit. All 5 players lined up. Fault line, Sky Smokes, it's all starting to set. Tesseract maybe in trouble. Can't rendezvous away from it. Paint shows. Accurate. That's what you need to see on the site, taking full control. Limited to 2 ultimates here on the Orangutan side, but they open things up. Orbital strike. Looking to deny space, but it does not do a thing. But here comes a showstopper. Shot far end. Orbital strike in retaliation. But a 2v4. How can that happen? Shooter only 1 isolated. But surely a 1v3 can't be doable. Surely not. Everybody is looking that direction. Forced directly in front of the crosshair of Hellranger. And the boys in red do it again.
They're really looking confident now. And I really want to highlight how effective that orbital strike was from, I believe it was Kappa. It was absolutely breathtaking. In a 2 versus 4, it isolates the 2 remaining players. It forces 1 forward, 1 backwards. They double swing on the raise, and then it's just clean up crew for the rest of the round. Beautiful utility usage there. And at 7-2, Global, they show no signs of stopping down. The only thing that for now is going to raise my eyebrow a bit is the fact that Orangutan don't have cash. This half still has a few rounds left of it, and if Orangutan can't even buy for the final one, they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It really is. Rolling Thunder coming forth. The only available ultimate on the Global Esports side. Utilized straight out of the bat. Skills close by. Aftershock right after him. Has to wide swing it. Gets the kill as well. Global Esports have command of sight. Have the numbers. Orangutan, I wouldn't go for it if I were them. But it seems like they want to go for it either way.
They don't have the money. They don't have the money to go for this. Tesseract falls. Rossi goes huge, and Global, they look dominant. They look absolutely dominant now, and it's because they're just not giving Orangutan space to breathe. I'm now, particularly as we look at Orangutan's ult usage, I'm really going to be curious to see if they have any aces up their sleeve here to assist. And this is but a testament to Hellranger here. This whole series is a showcase for Hellranger. Being able to pick Fracture, it forces Ghost off of the away from the Omen. It forces Vibor away from the KO, and it forces Tesseract away from the Sober. Well, 3 agents which have no place on Fracture. Global, this is some pre-match rehearsals that just went beautifully for them.
Oh, it looks like they found their mojo now here. Aggressing very quickly onto that ace site, but they do double back from it, stagger a little bit, just to make sure they can get the res down safely. Swing comes through, Vibhor dies, good coordination, and they keep on making it look easy.
Last player standing.
Further aggression, continuing to be sort of denied here, but they're just running out of players, aren't they? Tesseract alone, tour de force in hand, 5 players to kill. 4
That's
players
one.
to kill. Yeah.
4 bullets.
I mean, luckily Global won't have to share, but it's still a dire position for Orangutan right now.
The
to
thing
be
is,
just moments away from losing out on APAC.
He doesn't have a gun to save. So
That's
he can't.
true.
Oh, no!
Oh, the batting! The batting!
No! Careful! Tesseract! Okay, well, you backed away from it.
Lightning fast on the flank. The knife kill!
Oh, it's going to be a knife, isn't it? It's going to be a knife! George!
Who's done it?
It had to be a knife. It bloody had to be a knife kill.
Yeah. That's the round. That's not only the round, but more importantly, that may very well be the map.
That definitely plays games with their morale, with their mental capacity right now, because it's not easy on them. They've got another bye. Oh, but it's a tough one. Half shields on two. And only one ultimate available. That's the resurrection. It's not even high impact. Fault line across, very quick to react. Orangutan looking to gain space early, but it's a dish play they want to go for. Showstopper here for Global Esports. Not finding the kill, but the bullets will. 2 points of health is just enough to stay alive. And the rest want more. 4 commands. Rossi looking to challenge the back end. What a swing! What a shot! Rossi, you're crazy!
Pavlos, there is a word I taught you which is perfect for this moment.
I know it.
What is the word?
Chod.
Jod. We'll let that simmer for a second because Kappa now ready to shut down the remaining Orangutan players on their retake. This is definitely going to be tough.
Oh, they're not playing together this one. One after the other, slow warp, unable to push by, and that skills weaving in and out of battle. This is an art piece, and Global Esports are signed underneath the canvas.
They absolutely are. Pavlos, just a couple of rounds, not even a handful of rounds, separate Global now from VCT APAC. They went to APAC before. They didn't have the performance they wanted. It's personal now. It's about vengeance. The fact they had to go through the lower bracket as well is certainly going to harm the confidence, but it won't shatter the confidence. Instead, when we thought Global would falter to flatline, they've just become stronger. They've become even more hungry for this now. And at 10-2, they're at the absolute precipice of going to APAC.
It's such a bummer for Orangutan, though. And it's not over till it's over. You know they're going to have to give it a fight. VCT APAC is what they've been balloting it out for. In this region, you don't see too many mixed rosters like this. You don't often see Pakistani, Indians, Philippines, South Korea being represented all in one team. But it seems we may be seeing an all-Indian final. With Global Esports looking to represent once again. Still, not over till it's over. Pistol round going in favor of the Orangutan side. Finding site control and may be able to stay longer on this game.
Global on the retake. The flash is ready for V-Ball. Try and harass and harangue the encroaching members.
Here.
But is it enough?
Ooh, quickly bounce back here. Shooter, Persia get it done simply. Orangutan get a say in the matter.
They absolutely do. And here's the thing, when you're 10-2 down, Pavlos, for me 10-2 is too far gone. I think it is too far gone. But a comeback starts with the pistol round, right? There is still hope. And so long as we're still in this map, there will always be hope for OG. You look at their investment now. Marshalls, the Vandal comes out on Shooter, which I quite like. It means you still have some impact on the full buy here from Global. And for Global, we're not seeing a second round force spike, which I do really like.
Shooter first to initialize his position. Of course, the A site is what they're going for. Global Esports have got quite some leeway to work with. The pressure isn't there for them yet. The keyword there is a small word with 3 letters, yet. You know, Orangutan are capable of putting up that tempo. They've shown it, have shown upsets. Never, ever anyone expected them to get this far already, but they've done so. And they're looking to prove everybody wrong. Classic! One shot does get shut down. It could have gotten ugly, but it doesn't. Recovered by Orangutan, getting the spike down as well.
Oh my god!
One enemy remaining.
That was a nice shot by Rossi, but it was only one. Oh, we could calm down for a second, Pavlos. We still have the full buy to come, though. And for Orangutan, they didn't lose too many players, so they're still able to play a relatively strong bonus now against the likes of Global.
It's a long way to go, Cromer. But if there's anyone that can do it, it's got to be Orangutan.
Yep. Remember, our third map as well as Bind, a map which Orangutan are very bloody good at. So there is absolutely... Right now, Orangutan boasts 100% win rate on Bind. I've only played it 3 times since being formed as a team, but they have been ruthless on it every single time. If I'm Global, I want this done in 2.
Quick trade onto the site. 4-on-4 here, but it's going to be a tough one. Looks like Orangutan have grouped up all of the players together, now inkling towards this B position. Global Esports seizing control of A main. Process of elimination here, but they don't change these angles. They're sticking by them, which means there's only one defender for this B site.
Lots of utility being dropped here. Rossi, he's in such a crucial position.
He gets 2. Oh, not able to find the third, but is it good enough? Puts his team on top regards of the numbers. Rotations coming forth. Here's the fault line as well. 2-on-2. And Global Esports start to approach. Go switching the position up though. Can that catch them off guard? Skills looking to push towards tower. That's going to clear it, which means they can eliminate it. They know it's going to be Arcade, and he is going for a backstab of his own. Oh, but he made not one gets kill. But it's a back flash point. He's got a rolling thunder. Deny it. Waiting for the spike to be touched, using it straight out of the bat, but little does he know he's very close to him. All he has to do is swing by in time. Hellranger will be touching the spike again, but seizes off of it straight out of the bat fault line, looking to stun him up. Knows he's off of the spike, meaning he doesn't have to peek it once again. Orangutan are getting another win here. They're staying in the game.
It's laboured. It's bloody laboured, Pavlos, but they're able to do it. They're able to survive. They're able to thrive. And Orangutan, they are going to make Global work for this one. And if I'm on Global now, I'm not panicking yet, but I'm certainly worried a little bit now that it's shown that Orangutan, even though it's a map they never play, even though it's a map we don't have any stats on for them, they're still prepared.
They really are. They've got some tricks up their sleeves and can definitely keep things going a bit. Global Esports going for a bit of a filler. You don't really expect too much to come out from them, although we've seen them win out Sheriff rounds before. It wouldn't be a rarity at this point, which is why they've been so effective so far in this tournament. Being able to be a deadly force, even on a lesser buy, has to be scary.
You're absolutely right. Full aggression coming through here from Tesseract.
They're going round the roundabout. Oh, they switched positions. Little do they know, that's a free kill. That is a very free kill.
Another knife kill.
And now Global Esports have got the numbers.
Lightning Fast also has a showstopper here. That could be an insta-kill if it goes down, if it's used effectively. Goes trying to lead the charge here. But Hellranger, he covers his teammate. Oh, that's perfect!
Oh, and now it's the 1-on-3! Scrossy! He finds the Vandal and closes the last player out. Global Esports make a pistol win happen once again.
Thrifty as they shut down Orangutan. Where did that come from, Pavlos? Where did that come from? It's like we saw 2 openings that both just went so effectively for them, and then the follow-up was just immortal. The fact they were able to trade one another, the fact that Skills was kept alive by Hellranger was so impressive. That bait and switch was just magnanimous. And now for Orangutan, yes, they buy. Yes, the Tour de Force comes out, but look at the bank. There is nothing behind this. Global, they could hit Match Series point and APAC point while simultaneously resetting Orangutan.
This could be deadly. The wind taken out of their lungs here. Orangutan suffocated and forced to make their way out of this. An A crunch. And Tesseract with first blood. Looking to move in towards the A side though. Can they push in quickly? Double blast back to come through here from Shooter. It's going to be the showstopper, but Skills shuts him down. Gets a double as well. Global Esports looking to shut it down. Another spray down kill. And now what can you say for it? Skills knows there's one close by and is able to dance around it.
So good!
Skills, what a jod! And now there's only one left. Skills single-handedly taking down the Monkeys. Vipor, little do you know, Skills wants your name! Puts it on his belt, an ace!
An ace on the precipice of VCT APAC. Rossi has had a quiet game, but it does not matter when Skills, when Hell Ranger, when Lightning Fast all make up for it. And you look over to Skills now, the one lone Asterisk left on the planet, not even on his own hero that he's known for. He's over on the Brimstone. They're going 21-8. This is a Jubilee game for Skills, and it may be a Jubilee game for Global as they start with an instant opening.
It's going to be a quick one, Kremer. 2 kills from either side, but they do stabilize. Spike left in control of Orangutan, looking for more. Again, the trade come forward. Skills wants to carry on the tempo. Orangutan do have site control, though. And Global Esports know it.
Orbital Strike can delay the plant here, which may allow a chance for them to sort of just engage with the players. Skills, timing's perfect. It's all on Vibor. He's the only thing that separates Global from VCT APAC.
Vipor dancing around them. Will he go for the confrontation? He will not. He goes towards the A site instead and gives them another opportunity to work around this. Doesn't commit towards B, instead leaves Global Esports hanging.
30 seconds left.
And the spike will go down, giving him a brand new opportunity here, Kremer.
Still a chance. He's gonna have to. He's also got his Rolling Thunder off the back of that plant as well. He's gonna up the tempo. He's gonna go aggressive.
Oh no!
He's gonna have to fight him.
They're both approaching from the same location! Vipor! That is going to be 1 kill. Skills will be able to bounce back on it! Global Esports will be able to get the defusal, will be able to get the win, and will be able to qualify to VCT APAC and win a grand final spot!
What a game and what a team. Global Esports, we knew that they went into this with the taste of blood. We knew that they were back in this tournament for vengeance, and now they now get to go to VCT APAC with even more vengeance. I cannot wait. The redemption arc has been completed now as Global Esports go to the grand finals to play against Enigma.
What a crazy matchup between these two teams. The Ape Army going up against Global Esports. Fought really hard, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. But for Global Esports, it's going to be 3 on the trot. And who knows, the third time it might be a charm. It's nothing new to them. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause to us for the Ape Army? Wonderful, I love the spirit. But now for Global Esports, ladies and gentlemen, can you make some noise for Global Esports? Wonderful, wonderful. Bhavin knows exactly what's about to happen. He was waiting for me. There you go, here's your mic.
Thank you.
3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. Like coming into the event, our goal was to obviously win the entire event. The first 2 or 3 days, I think we were not in our zone. We were nervous during the games, which usually does not happen on LAN to us. But I think the last 2 days or so after the Revenant game, we have been in the zone, like we have been just having fun in the game. So,
and it shows, as a matter of fact, it shows. But here's the thing: you said you love being the underdog. You love having your back against the wall.
Yeah.
But the last 2 matches you played, you talk about the match against Velocity. You talk about the match against Orangutan. Clean sweeps, clinical skills, going absolutely crazy in the last map as well. Everybody stepping up. What has changed?
No, I mean, like everyone writes us off after one performance, and I absolutely love it. Like I enjoy it. Like when you write us off, that adds fuel to the fire. We are here to win the event, and that's what we are going to do.
Oh, absolutely, but it's not over yet for you folks. Tomorrow is going to be an even more important match because that's going to decide where you end up in the APAC Challengers, and of course you want to have a direct entry. And then if you play well, you might go to Copenhagen as well. And of course, that's the dream, that's the goal, to wave the Indian flag over there. Of course, you guys are pumped up, but for all the fans, do you have any words?
Yeah, just about the last bit, that we did not make the groups the last time. We lost to Velocity in the finals. And we hope to change that this time, get us time to prepare. And to all the fans who have been supporting us, thank you. And to everyone who keeps writing us off, a bigger thank you, because it adds fuel to the fire. So thank you, guys.
Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations. Wonderful energy over here, guys, in the arena. If you're still in Chennai, you haven't shown up, trust me, you do not want to miss tomorrow, because tomorrow it's going to be electric in here. I'm worried about the roof. It's going to get blown up, I'm pretty sure. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we need to head back to our panel because they're going to break the game down. We'll explain what happened. So over to you folks.
Global Esports have done it. These guys are moving to international waters. They are going into a place where they have been before, but they just so desperately want to get back out there again to show to the world exactly what India can do. What a dominant win over the Orangutan Gaming in that last map. And this is such a breath of fresh air for them because the previous map was a very hard fought one. This time though, they seem like they had absolutely no trouble at all.
Yeah, the previous map was hard fought, but you still have to remember it was 13-8. It wasn't that hard fought.
Not that hard. They've been through worse.
Yeah, they've been through worse. 13-11 overtime. That is truly a hard fought map. But if you look at the second map, Global just picking up so many rounds on attack and no sort of a tactical response coming out from the side of Orangutan. It felt like they didn't have an answer for Global Esports on Fracture. They couldn't make the adjustments. You mentioned earlier, you were talking about another team in the tournament and how they play for retake. There's a reason you play for retake on Fracture, because there isn't that much space. Sometimes you have to give up space. You do not want to give up numbers. If you have numbers and you have abilities, you can take space back.
Yeah. Speaking of space, I have a couple of interesting things I noticed. So, Global Esports win the first 6 rounds back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
No problem over there, always alternating between their playstyles, always alternating wherever they want to hit. And then in the 7th round, Orangutan, they approach almost immediately. Instead of going for those split pushes, they start going for one-dimensional hits, but they increase the pace so much that it is ridiculous. It cannot be dealt with. And another thing which I want to point out, after that particular round, Kappa was so creative. Kappa, if you're hearing this, buddy, I love you today. I love your performance. His barrier orbs with the Sage was so creative.
Oh, yeah.
So creative. And he never repeats the same wall again, always blocking off different areas of the map. If they're hitting B main, they'll block off the entire canteen area. If they're hitting A main, sometimes he'll use the standard barrier orb to get into the site and go plant, the standard crossing barrier orb. And sometimes he'll just block off the CT entrance. Sometimes he'll block off the A main entrance so that he can make sure that any backstabs from Orangutan cannot enter. And that creativity that Kappa had in his barrier orbs also saved his life once from a showstopper. I'm not going to talk about it, but it will be shown in the highlights, and when it does, I'll point it out. It was an unintentional little corner created by Kappa, but who knew that it's going to save him from a bloody rocket launcher?
Oh yeah, Kappa was phenomenal on the stage. So many walls improvised on the fly.
Yeah.
And those walls were game defining. There's 7 wonders in the world, the Eiffel Tower, the Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China. But for me, it's the Great Wall of Kappa. He was single-handedly responsible for a lot of Global Esports success, showing that there is such a thing as a Sage diff, and really showing us what is possible on Fracture if you're creative with your agent, if you come prepared. See, people talk about individual players, and sure, we're looking at our 2 MVPs. I'm going to come back to these 2 later, but Kappa's done his own work.
Yeah.
When you do your homework on an agent, it shows. That this is as simple as that. There's no other way to explain it. This man, the journeyman of Indian Valorant, is alive and kicking, and one more team has joined Enigma in the road to APAC.
Another team joins Enigma. Kappa may or may not have impressive numbers today. His skills don't really speak for all that much, but the walls that he placed was just simply so creative. It's criminal that the stats don't capture it, but what they do capture is the essence of skills. My goodness, triple kills, quad kills, knife kills, and then an ace. That was the cherry on top of the cake.
Absolutely. I think he knifed Tesseract, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And welcome to South Asian Valorant. It can get a bit sticky if you're not watching your back all the time. But watching your back, you were talking about those pushes. I think pushing on defense has been a very, very crucial aspect of how Indian teams are playing Fracture.
Except Orangutan. They did it, but it was a bit too late when they started doing it.
It was a bit too late, but Global Esports does it, Enigma does it, Velocity did it. They all push for information, and they don't push with just one agent. They're pushing with multiple numbers. Otherwise, it's raw fuel on the chamber who's pushing by himself with the rendezvous to get back. So if you do not push on defense, what's going to happen is you're clumped up on a site. The site is barely a one-by-one box. The houses you can find bigger in Mumbai, and if you do not move, if you're stuck on that site, you're just going to die to all those abilities. It's that simple. So you have to push for information, or you have to be ready to disengage from an execute.
And then hopefully go for a retake.
Yeah, or you're flipping your coin and you're hoping that you counter-stratted them so much, you know how to counter that execute.
Yeah, but then that requires a lot of homework, and any minute variations can ruin your thing.
It is not easy.
Especially on Fracture, because...
But having said that though, Crips, in APAC, I mean, Global Esports has shown us how they play Fracture. So far, it is something that can be read, especially their offense. And I feel that a lot of teams are looking at them and will come very prepared for them. On the other hand, talking about our other finalist tomorrow, Enigma, personally, I feel that they're really a bit of a mystery.
A bit of a mystery?
For me, on the panel, I mean, you can point out the individual rounds which they clutch, but what really makes them work as a unit is a little bit hard to decipher right now. What are these stats? Top 5 fraggers. Rossi, Lightning Fast, Deathmaker, absolutely. Skills. Skills is in the top 5?
Imagine, out of the top 5 players in the tournament so far, 3 of them belong to Global Esports. Now that is super impressive. So, what's even more surprising is that not a single member of the other finalist Enigma is on this list.
What does that say about Enigma? That they distribute their frags, that they're not top heavy, that they're not relying on one person to carry all their frags, or are they winning tactically? Is it that they're winning without having to face their opponents? Are they tactically just a level above everybody else?
I think that's the only opinion that you can decipher out of this one. There's no way that Rafuel isn't on this list. I'm pretty sure that if he's not in the top 5, he has to be in the top 10. Forget just Rafuel. Even Excali's been popping off in the last few days.
Yeah, Excali, even Anti. But the reason I was shocked when I saw Skills' name is because he's playing the most thankless role on Global Esports. He's the only controller in the top 5.
Exactly.
His headshot percentage, impressive. And overall, his average ACS, also pretty impressive. He's playing a controller, for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
And it's not the Viper that he plays. I mean, if you're playing Breeze or Icebox, you can get a lot of ACS, you can get kills in the afterplant, even while you're playing defense. There's an opportunity for you to get a lot of kills. He's primarily playing Brimstone.
Yeah, or Omen.
Or Omen.
Exactly. So stuff like that makes this positioning by Skills so special. But I'm going to be honest, after his performance today, The 3 KD ratio he pulled off in just this map alone, the ace that he was able to get, and it was a difficult ace, mind you. He had Shooter sacheling in with a bloody showstopper at him, and Skills shoots him mid-air. That's what tells you everything about it. And if Skills is in top form, then Enigma better watch out tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, you only have 1 game remaining in this tournament, and that is going to be Global Esports versus Enigma. The team that wins tomorrow is going to have a significant advantage in VCT APAC because they're going to skip an entire stage and go ahead into the next one. They both go to APAC, but one of them is going to have to fight in from the play-ins.
Playoffs.
Yeah. You don't want to be in the playoffs now. Also, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we have another game coming up today. It isn't a professional game. In fact, it's in something even better. This is a match between some of the finest content creators in the country, and these guys are going to be playing for bragging rights.
Yeah, it's going to be at 8 p.m. Production will obviously keep us updated as soon as it's going live on the Hindi stream, and yeah, that should be fun. I love all the bad mouthing that takes place.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a different vibe, right? Up until now, we've been thinking about, in all seriousness, what these teams can do to each other, what can Global Esports, Enigma pull off, how can Orangutan try to fit inside, and we've been just theory crafting, but that all is just too much seriousness. It's about time we let loose. It's about time we have a little fun. And that's exactly why this content creators match at 8 p.m. is going to be something you don't want to miss, because this tells you about the fun side of Valorant, the side of Valorant that you can relate to a little bit more.
Oh yeah, it is going to be fun. Also, if you've been enjoying the broadcast, if you've been enjoying Kremer and X-Warrior, you can find them at the rate Kremer3 or Kremer32. He's on Twitter, he's on Instagram. You can find Pavlos at X_Warrior. You can find Crips at the rate Crips. Cripscast. And I'm at the rate VWEWAK. Trust me, you don't want to go to my Twitter. Anywho, a big shout out to the wonderful teams in the Hindi, in the Tamil, in all the broadcasts. On the Hindi desk, we've got Games.
8 languages.
8 languages. I barely can speak one proficiently. On Hindi, we've got Gamezo, we've got Captain Price, who you obviously know. We've got Sam. What is Sam's social media?
Lucifer.
Yeah, because I know it's not Sam. And we've also got Tanya, who's been a wonderful colleague to work with. First time I'm working with her, and you can follow her at the rate Tanya YT.
Tanya Gaming YT.
Tanya Gaming, yeah. Crips remembers the handles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, I remember the handles.
Also, sorry to cut you off, Crips. If you've been enjoying the broadcast, please like the video. Please subscribe, because Skyesports, I'm telling you folks, there's a lot of Valorant coming up, and you do not want to miss it. And there's a lot more esports goodness coming in this year. Finally, the pandemic is behind us,
and we can start the LANs. The LANs are back.
Absolutely, action is ahead of us. It is just beginning. The madness is just beginning.
Yeah, and very soon Skyesports are going to be announcing the next event as well. We know it, but we'll probably wait for the PR announcement to let you guys know. For now, we have our good friend Mamba ready to talk to the players.
At the rate Senor Mamba. Follow him as well. Take it away, Senor Mamba.
10 of your favorite content creators are going to be playing in a bit. So do not go anywhere, because we will be right back, and we'll have 2 amazing teams come up and give you a lot of entertainment. So I'll see you around at 8.
Those who know performance know AMD Ryzen. Get the latest gaming laptops powered by AMD Ryzen processors. Those who know performance know AMD Ryzen. Get the latest gaming laptops powered by AMD Ryzen processors.